Zazie and AIM, Batman, Luka, and Rapid are the two other teams. Nobody really wanted to push and contest just yet, but Moneymaker and Fnayan just end up going down low to the low ground, getting chased by Jaemon and Yuma, backed up into a corner, very little options to work with, and this is exactly what you were talking about. These bog fights, they need materials in order to be able to come out on top, because eventually, if you didn't farm up as much in the early game, you will run out quick, and that's when they'll strike.
It just seems as though Yuma and Jaemon, they've got their prey perfectly trapped here. Fnayan, Moneymaker, this is quite a sticky situation. Backs literally against the wall here. Might have an opportunity. Moneymaker does have that rocket ram available. Keep in mind the height that it can cover, but at the same time, Fnayan as well, but they'll still be relatively exposed. If they do try to utilize these rocket rams, there is still a chance that Jaemon or Yuma might potentially look to take them out here.
Grenades trying to just at least sniff off some of the shields. Not very many left in their back pocket. Snazy, Podesai over on the other side of the map, looting up pretty safely. Not too many teams contesting them. Maybe one north of Shattered Slabs. You know, King and Phaser are over on towards their left, and a double contestation on their south towards Relentless Retreat. And they're kind of using all the time that they have to their advantage, so that way they can have these safe rotations. That way they have an opportunity to play out, and they're going to be one of the first teams rotating out of that side. And Taco, I think we've seen this strategy before. FHD and Hero might be doing something that only one region has done so far on the weekend.
Zagu and Beppo are somewhat of an inspiration, one might say, as far as this strategy is concerned. I mean, you can see Bing trying to crawl away here, but that's just not going to be a possibility. The damage is being farmed. We talk about surge strategies all the time, and hey, if it works, it works.
Right now, you've got to be able to capture the other one, but it does look like Don was able to kind of get his teammate eliminated. No free search for you anymore, and he's hoping they move off that spot so that way he can get the reboot card back, get his teammate back into the game like we saw so many times in Game 1. And we saw how fruitful it was on those reboots. They were able to get far into the game and kind of make it worth their while to go for such a risky attempt at that. Kaizen and Clement split up, looting up, safe as can be. But Hen is doing the same thing, and nobody is nearby, at least for now. But the zone is going to force these guys over towards the east, maybe a little bit towards the north, so eventually they're going to run into some problems.
Hey, look, we talk all the time about players splitting off from each other, looking for opportunities. One might be prioritizing farming out resources, the other looking to try and secure as many surge tags as possible. But when you are this far apart from your duo, you have to be certain that you are not going to have some unexpected companies spring up on you, because if that's the case and you're not able to actually provide that backup that you would like, it could be a very quick downward spiral before you have a chance to recover. King and Phaser, on the other hand, though, they're just looking to stick together. Death and Tahi, looks like they wanted this fight.
It's a bird, it's a plane, no. It's just Death and Tahi trying to go up and over King and Phaser. Didn't work out. They land right at the top of that mountain along with them. Shots going through the build for Phaser. Him and King, they've already had their chance yesterday to qualify. And not very many people get these second chances, and they're hoping to not waste it and let it dwindle away. And they're actually separated. They're almost box to box with their opponent with very little space in between. And this is where the strategy, formulating some sort of a plan, maybe a little bit of a bull rush to try to take them out while they're separated, while the strength in numbers is high.
This goes for both duos. You can't get too distracted and tunnel in on one unless you are certain that your time to elimination is going to be fast. Other teams already starting to take note of this battle that started to break out just outside of Shattered Slabs. And for Death and Tahi, King and Phaser, well, they've got a couple more problems than just each other to deal with right now.
All around the map, players are trying to rotate to some high elevated positions, grab their spot in zones so that way they can look back, try to hold people out. And already you're seeing where these players are positioned at towards the northeastern side of the zone. They're kind of hoping it goes over towards Brutal Bastion, maybe even Sanguine Sweets, something that they can work with so they can hold their spot and gatekeep these players out. But Pixie, you can see him just putting some shots, not finding too much success, but he's not giving up very many shots either. But Vico is down. Now it's Bink's turn to try to hold 10 toes down. Nice shot, nice knock. Has to reload though. The mistake still another player, a whole nother team hot on their heels, not wanting to let anybody survive in this position. This is what you call a phenomenal third party, but Pink wastes no time trying to disengage. He's trying to get out, and you realize Shalom and MK Papa, they're not going to be on the chase. They're just going to get the spoils of this battle and collect all that loot as if it was their own.
Pink definitely already got what he was looking for, though. Vico's reboot card on top of some initial materials to build with for his escape there. Nice utilization of the crash pad as well, just not trying to waste any further time. He already secured the clutch that he needed to for his teammate, and it's definitely early enough that he could certainly look for a reboot opportunity there onto Vico. We'll have to check back in with them later on. And as far as Polarized and Censored are concerned, again, it's not uncommon to see players willing to just look for these surge tag opportunities, build up a little tower temporarily close to their initial drop spots, try and see if they can tag anybody else who might be in the middle of their loop path. But as far as Polarized is concerned, well, there's a push at the top of a building, and you know that building's not initially supposed to be there, Jacob. Players are usually going to box up around themselves while actually moving.
Yep. At least, you know, they're sticking to the game plan. They know teams got to rotate in that position. Eventually, Perza gets tagged up, trying to refarm as much as possible. His teammate doing the same thing. They get themselves a sliver of the zone just on the edge. They can easily move forward to try to get more position inside, so that way they don't fall behind everybody else. In a lobby like this, that's not what you want to do. But down goes River. Skid's trying to make up for it. His teammate's very low HP. He's trying to give him time to breathe. The elimination and the siphon's going to go through, but it goes to Skids, who already was full health. River's trying to battle back with a little bit of that high ground, but he goes down all the same. Skids and Soraf are able to stay on top in that exchange, and now they get so much loot for their efforts.
5 eliminations, by the way. Already 20 points collected for Skits and Soraf. You add that with a relatively decent placement, and these guys could be having the game to really mark themselves on the leaderboard. But the fact that they've already seen so much action, I'm curious as to how well it's going to translate in terms of how well they're going to be able to prioritize their positioning, because you have to expect that their surge damage is definitely well above the threshold.
Yep, and phenomenal performance to start this day. Didn't really go their day yesterday, but if at first you don't succeed, you try again. Fully in Shadow, you saw them kind of contested. And you can see that North America has won 4 of the 6 matches played this weekend. NA is showing that maybe it's not as EU strong as it once was at the Invitational, but this is only the first 2 days. We haven't received or played in the grand finals on Sunday just yet. Things can change because we know the EU region likes to go ahead and VOD review. They like to practice. They like to save some of those secrets, if I may say so myself.
Still, NA definitely looking like a decent amount of Lanimals for the time being, and out of Majors hoping to keep that trend going. Keep in mind their day one certainly did not go the way that they would have hoped by any means. But the fact that they've even made it this far is already a testimony to the fact that day 2 was definitely looking better than yesterday's.
You can see how well it's going for them. This time around, Kanata and Agers off the drop, uncontested, but quickly moving around. With the zone pulling towards the east side yet again. It's only a wonder what happened and why they made an opposite decision of what they made last game. But I trust them. They're the ones who made it here. I'm the ones just in the stands. As Kaizen and Clement, they're not too far off where Kanata and Agers once just were. They're trying to hope. I think right now the strategy is to get as much surge as possible with a lot of teams that are rotating in from the south, that are rotating from the western side. And that way they could probably rotate later on in the game. They could probably be one of the first ones now that they don't have to worry about it. But for now, they're just getting their loot cache. Just trying to go ahead and shield up and ready for this next rotation. Azazi does go down the top of Mega City. He gets surrounded by both Source and Yumi. And Aim's the one that's trying to disengage. In the distance, another team on top of Mega City just trying to get their surge themselves. He has plenty of heals to work with. My only worry is going to be that men miss the HP because Zone is going to be pulling forward. So he only has enough time for so much.
This array of heals, though, that Aim just keeps conveniently strolling through. You almost have to wonder if this was initially somebody else's base center over at Mega City. I mean, when you have several different teams that are choosing to prioritize landing there, you have to expect that players are going to be trying to accrue as many of those shield potions as possible, so that way they can maintain a good height positioning to look for those earlier surge tags. So definitely convenient for aim. Not so much so here at the Creaky compound, though. Noxy Crisp under a decent amount of pressure. Head down overview, but it's going to be Shalon and MK Papa that are making the first strikes.
You see they're fighting over that weapons cache, and Noxy and Chris, that third party, is like a fly at a picnic, just buzzing around, just taking some damage, forced them to kind of disengage off the fight that they were trying to be the aggressors on. For Shalom and MK Papa, this is their chance here. They have the opportunity with so many extra heals there. They're already in zone. They could keep that base as theirs. Look elsewhere for Surge. Spot some teams trying to go for Rift Island. You saw them flying through the sky like majestic eagles. King and Phaser are trying to be one of the first ones there. They almost get beat to the punch by Moneymaker. And down goes King.
He's 100% beat them to the punch, along with F9. Those two probably not going to waste any time as far as trying to actually base up around that capture point on the Rift Island. They'll also have the convenience of being able to get that overhead view of all these teams underneath. As far as MK Papa is concerned, though, able to spot out another player across the way. It's going to be Miro. And Miro, Cooper, we saw them last time, kind of hovering around this Rift Island. They know that there's going to be a decent amount of players kind of taking note if we're basing it all off of how game one went so far. And with that in mind, Miro and Cooper, they definitely were able to get some tags in the process.
Nobody really contesting Rift Island this time around. Looks like it could be a possible 15 free points for Moneymaker and Fnayan. They're going to secure that underneath their belt and all the loot that does come with it. Hen and Vasquez were the other team in game one to make that one come true, but this time things have gone a whole different way. They're below the Storm Surge threshold, slowly falling farther down. 63 below, though, with nice shots. I think to Vasquez, he got the rocket ram out. He wants to finish and clean up some of those shots, but it's King and Phaser over on the other side, and he's ready to have a crash landing. First one goes in, second one lands right next to him, but a couple of shots land onto Hen on his way there. That's going to slow things down just a little bit, and that could be a blessing in disguise for King and Phaser, because now they have a chance to stabilize.
That's the problem as well for Hen and Vasquez. I mean, you spot a great opportunity to actually look for an elimination process, and yet on the way over, you're immediately lit up. There's just no such thing as a free rotation in these types of lobbies. But for King and Phaser, that little moment of breathing room might be all that it took. As they look to continue playing through the backside, King's gonna find a good left side peek opportunity. Doesn't necessarily connect though like he would have wanted onto Hen, but Hen and Vax, they're under enough pressure as is. It's Moneymaker, keep in mind, he was the one at the top of Rift Island. Seems as though Moneymaker and F9, they're ready to play with everybody else on the bottom. Yeah, they thought they had the line of sights in their favor to where they were directly under Rift Island. Somehow Moneymaker did find that angle. Like I said, it just takes some time for a player like him to try to heat up. As Hen's now stuck by himself. Luckily thing for him, he's above the damage threshold for now, but he knows that is right around the corner. Gonna be haunting him like it's Halloween. Check a little bit of a replay here. Way trying to put the pressure onto both Bully and Shadow. Bully gets knocked first. That might even be 7-man trying to steal the loot away. That is so tough for Bully and Shadow. They are just pincered between two separate teams. I mean, how are you really meant to box fight when you got multiple directions that you have to be checking for against multiple teams? Definitely not the way that Bully would have hoped to go down, but as far as Way and YKZ are concerned, they're definitely happy with that collection of an elimination. Now continue trying to press their way forward. Seems that they're trying to avoid some other players in the process. Gotta be wary though at all times. Clicks in the Epic Whale. Quickly rotating out of Mega City this time around, or at least in comparison to their competition that does land over on that side. Firing shots off into the distance, and then instantly closing the cover. He doesn't want to get caught out, even though he wants Surge. He doesn't want to give up any free Surge either. And you can see Pink, he escaped almost getting eliminated early on in this game, and he found a way to get Vico back, but it came as a cost, Taco. They're below the damage threshold when it comes to Storm Surge. Luckily for them, it's only 6. That is barely anything. They just got to breathe on another team, and now they're hot on the heels of Batman Booga. This is the opportunity that they're trying to take in order to climb above the threshold before they fall too far below. It definitely won't take much for Pink and Vico to get themselves above that damage threshold, but at the same time, I'm looking more so at their materials. Not very many builds for Vico to work with, and again, that's largely due to the fact that they had to go for that remove ban opportunity. They didn't actually have the time to look to farm up as well as they would have liked, given the pressure they were under earlier. Vico, he's also gonna eat too much damage in the process. They're trying to make it into the edge of zone, but it's just being safeguarded by so many teams already set in place.
Wow, nice shot from Pink onto Rapid. The Batman Booga there to save the day and instantly going for that revive, judging by the slurp juices as well. Waste no time to heal on back up as fast as possible. And that allowed them to get Surge, even if they might not have necessarily needed it. But from one team down below Surge to another, Clement and Kaizen, but they're in a whole different situation because their Surge is now active and they're taking so much damage and all the heals have finally been used. So time is running out. Lucy goes for a Pink. Nice shot's going to be landed. Even he is below Surge. These are two teams below Surge going at it. Clement tries to go ahead and bull rush into the box. He gets denied that opportunity. Lucy with only 20 damage to do. They box up Clement. They get that elimination and a huge amount of damage to boot.
It was just a moment of desperation there from Clement, but what other options do we realistically have? And even for Steno and Lucy, they collect that elimination, and it's still just barely going to be enough to put them above that damage threshold. This lobby is moving and not in the direction that they would have hoped.
This time around, you see a lot of players, even if they're above, it's not by much. It's not a feeling of comfortability whatsoever. But they know these opportunities will continue to come later on in the game. Kaizen is able to do some damage before falling. Almost taking down Lucy. Steno there to save the day as well. 27 above though. Slowly but surely climbing. But 98 in a lobby like this isn't much at all. But they have to just take it one step at a time. One foot in front of another.
Suns and Anand though. The fact that they're still making this work after how this game had started off for them is definitely some pretty good stuff here. Saw them talking about it earlier on socials. They're going to put Oshi on the map. And that seems to be the intent here in game number 2. But first, they've got to make sure they're able to acquire the position that they need to be in the first place.
Ooh. That's no bueno. Ooh. Storm Surge and Mr. Savage and Vidil targeting them together. Gapter's going to fall. FKS just using as much heals as he can, but Vidil and Mr. Savage, they don't want to let these 4 points and all that loot go out of their way. They're just trying to push themselves into the box, leave no option for their opponent. He's doing what he can to dance around, but the elimination is going to go through regardless. Even though they did take some damage along the way, they've got some heals. The exotic slap splashes to try to get themselves back up to tip-top shape, and they're going to need it. This rotation is going to be far. We're going over towards the side of Brutal Bastion. For some teams that are already there, it's going to be easy. Everyone else, good luck to you.
Working your way up elevation is certainly pretty dangerous type of pathway. Snazy and Podesai, though, they look like they're set in a decent spot for the time being. Crash Pad gonna take them a little bit further in. Coming up on the backside here of Duke and Fishy. Just keeping in mind some of the teams that they're working their way behind. Podesai and Snazy, it looks as though they want to get aggressive here, but instead Podesai has to rethink, doesn't want to use that Crash Pad forward just yet after taking such huge damage from behind.
Goes for a cheeky edit. Bounce Pad Junior play. It costs him a lot of HP along the way. Daisy, who didn't have any bounce pad, choosing to use the first of 3 rocket rams to try to find a safe spot in zone. Leading the way. This could be a good call for them as Podesai finally catches up. The loot is going to be dished around, but you can see the last of their heals. They are running low, so for them, a refresh is imminent. It is going to be needed, and you see Agers by himself as well below the threshold. Kanata fell not too far, not too long ago, but there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders, pressure that he's felt before in their major run, trying to capitalize on it. The time is running out. Storm Surge doing so much damage. He's going to be in the same position as the other teams that we've seen. He's using a lot of heals just to stay alive. Even if it's not Storm Surge, that's Daisy and Podesai on the other side.
Storm Surge seems to be Ager's biggest opponent right now, because as long as he's given the opportunity to connect, those shots are going to put him exactly where he needs to be. Just a moment of relief here with 23 above. Roaming redeploy also going to take him in decent ways with that soaring sprints. And again, Agers just barely managing to catapult himself to the front side of the zone. But this is a great opportunity now for him to just look for that brief moment of reset. Looks to try and catch Rapid off guard, but it doesn't just work out in his favor.
Yeah, you can see Rapid by himself. Batman Booger went down, so he's going to be a solo. There's actually 6 solos in the game as of now who lost their teammate, and they have the world on their shoulders to try to make something out of this game. Rapid and QNDX aren't going to be one of them. They're a full-on duo, and they've been playing well so far in this game. 1 elimination, the rest is going to be placement points. But as this one goes on, those placement points are going to continue to rack up. We're only into the top 22. Ooh.
Foxflowers getting taken out by Rapid and QND. It's sneaky as well. This underbelly type of play over here at the Brutal Bastion. Podesai now looking to work his way through these builds. Only has this heisted accelerant to work with. He's got to be quick with the action, lands the shots, gets the enhanced effects, but just keeps it moving instead. Doesn't want to stick around for too long. Doesn't want to risk the backup opportunity from some of these other duos. He just wants the tags. He just wants the damage because that's going to buy him more time.
I feel like I got deja vu all over again. Podesai, solo, going into the end game. He made something of it in that last go-around. Can he repeat? 164 above the damage threshold as well. Not too much to worry about when it comes to that part of things. It's all about just staying alive. You don't want to run into the wrong duo, maybe one that's on the other side of that Storm Surge threshold. He knows so many other teams are below him. They're on top and everything. And look, this is almost like a repeat. Price and Chubbs on the high ground yet again. They said it's simple. They said it's easy, and they're ready to prove it be.
Nobody else is going to try and challenge for height. Bryce and Chubbs will be all too happy to take it. Rapid going to be one of the first to fall here. Clean elimination there for Price, and now Podesai continuing, trying to work his way back up, but so much fire being applied to his build. He's down to just his last 2 remaining. He needs a refresh of some sort, but whether or not he's going to be able to find it is a different question altogether.
16th place so far. Half of those points come when you reach top 10. The other half are in the top 10. Podesai's just trying to get as many as he can, but he goes down. That's Clix. That's Epicwell who find the elimination. Clix gets knocked. Epicwell knows to try to go ahead without him, but a misplay on the bounce pad. He falls as well, but at least they got some points for their efforts. Consistency is key, but it's Agers as the solo who is able to find that elimination and keep him and Kanata alive within contention of that top 25.
We're talking about consistency, and right now for Bryce and Chubbs, so far they're consistently holding onto that high PX in. Kitos trying to tart through some of these secondary high layers. So far, haven't managed to encounter anybody just yet. Agers, though, breaks through the build and he doesn't want to find himself behind. That's going to be an elimination. Credit to Shalom is now PX in. Kitos try to tart their way forward. Crash pad, get a shot up on height, but it's not enough to actually break anything or knock down Bryce.
Yeah, but they're one of the few teams that sees what's going on above. They can easily try to make that a target if it's something they want to do. Quanti and TK, we heard him qualifying in that last game thanks to a big clutch by Quanti, trying to keep that show on the road. Reason goes down. Jen is trying to make up for it. Elimination's going to be found. Runs out of builds, runs out of map. That's Noxie who's going to be able to take him down.
Quanti and TK, they seem to have found a slight gap. Nobody else quite discovering them just yet. PX in and Kitos, though, they've managed to make a resurgence for the high ground. Pixie and Cheatin down below on the opposite end of the spectrum. They're still forced to deal with some of the congestion that remains.
Bryce and Chubbs have a chance. Brute win from the high ground, win from the low ground as Pixie takes down PH in. Saving that siphon for later. Now it's going to come in handy. As soon as somebody else does eliminate it, that is going to be TK who cleans that one up. Only one player here left as a solo. Quanti going around, goes for the high ground. That's Kitos, the final solo. He gets dropped in the palm of his hands, but he dunks on him as Cheatin picks up that elimination onto TK. Quanti falls. Top 2 situation with Cheatin and Pixie being our final duo left alive. Kitos, on the other hand, using that early high ground to his advantage, but it only lasts for so long. Cheatin and Pixie take the game.
What a way to state your victory royale. Cheatin' and Pixie wasted absolutely no time with taking over the low ground, and we've got Frankie standing by to get into their minds.
I do. To be honest, that looked like quite a calm victory from you, Cheatin'. How did it feel on the lobby today?
It's really nice. Like, we are full sec the whole game and just played it out.
Yeah, you did play it out. You almost made it look easy, but it's not easy to take a victory royale in front of a very loud crowd here in Copenhagen. How are the nerves right now?
Feeling a bit nervous, but it's fine.
So how did you control those nerves when you were in those final fights?
Yeah, we just went for low ground and just won the game from there.
Do you think that low ground is a strategy that can work for you all the way to Sunday?
I'm pretty confident that we are doing good on Sunday, so we just keep going.
Well, you're doing good right now. For you, how did you get ready for this experience of being on LAN?
We practice customs a lot and just play tournaments together, so yeah.
Any customs you'd recommend?
Noble.
Noble, there you go. Custom Noble, check it out. Guys, congratulations on making it this far. I do need to ask, do you think you can take another victory royale now you've already got one?
Yeah, 100%.
All right, well, I love the confidence. So, boys, I'll let you get ready for the next battle bus as we head back to the desk. Congratulations.
Thank you so much, Frankie. Congratulations, Cheatin' and Pixie, a victory royale. Well, Vivid, that's an EU team. Yep. That's an EU team that's got a victory royale. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. And it's going to be on top. It's fine. How do you feel about that one, Mini Miner?
Feeling great. I mean, what a win. What a way to close it out. Really happy for these guys as well. Of course, qualifying to that last chance major. We haven't seen them yet this weekend, and now finally putting on a show. We know that this duo have what it takes. Going down on that low ground right there, just fragging out so many limbs from these guys in those latter stages. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah, I love this, actually. Being so resourceful here is Pixie and Cheatin', right? Look at all of the splashes that they have, somehow, by the way, managed to keep onto. And eventually they're like, you know what? There's no reason for us to continue to fight for low ground. Why don't we just go ahead and play this tournament? We have all of these splashes utilized. They did so at the perfect time, ended up working out.
Yeah, it really did. And I love that from the show. It just shows the brain that they have. Just knowing, you know what, let's get into that zone. Let's close out this game, because PhD and Ketos did a very, very good job there, taking height at a great moment. Didn't quite work out for them getting second, but great job from Cheatin' and Pixie.
You talk about PhD and Ketos. I mean, I just want to take a moment here to highlight this duo. They take ultimate height here over ice. You can't build up there. You can't break. They're like, we're up here. I don't know what in the world Ketos is doing, okay? But did you all see that shot? He lands. He's going to fall. Builds are broken. He's coming down. It's either me or him. And for him, it was him. He is him.
Yeah, I mean, hitting that falling shotgun shot. We see them sometimes throughout Fortnite competitive history, but that one had to be like the best one, right? He was literally falling, ended up surviving 1 HP, but the only reason he had enough HP to actually survive the fall is because he hit that shot, got that siphon.
So disgusting. Here are the standings as we take a look. Remember, if you're just joining us, we're looking for top 25. That's where we want to end the day. Chubbs and Bryce picked up game number 1 in the VR. But with Pixie and Cheatin' getting that one themselves, paired up with the elimination, suddenly up 13 places. Now, boys, how do we keep this momentum going?
High ground clearly is doing well. I mean, we're talking about Bryce and Chubbs right here, taking high ground at a really, really nice moment. Again, this was another one of those zones that was actually closer to them. Of course, they're getting that forecast power in some of the games. In this game, it was a very, very nice zone for them. We saw in the first game, it was not a very nice zone at all, so far away. So this just brings excitement for me when it comes to this duo, because they performed when the zone is absolutely miles away. And yet again, they performed with that 3rd place finish right there. It's a really, really exciting duo if they can keep it up.
Yeah, they figured something out, because every time I'm watching from like 5th and 9th zone, I'm like, oh my gosh, these zones, they just keep pulling further and further away, which usually in this type of meta, they have to use all of their builds to actually make some of those rotates. But Bryce and Chubbs just seem like they're always in such a healthy position when it comes to how many materials they have. I have no idea how they're doing it, but it is working out great. And then obviously the transition into the height takes so good.
What's crazy to me is after game 1, Bryce and Chubbs, you could tell they were definitely nervous. It was a little bit overwhelming, but as we're playing out these games, man, they look so on form. I mean, if they can bring that tomorrow, how far could they take it?
I mean, hey, listen, you know, we've seen some teams already, it's particularly yesterday, I think Queasy and Venom, right? They're pretty good at higher guns, so contesting them up there, that'll be a tall task to try and tackle. We still got 3 more games to go through, though, so I'm excited to see who else maybe tries to contest them up there.
Well, let's take a look at the high ground. Bison, Quitos, we got to come to the Brazilian region to take a look at how this all unfolded, but from their own perspective. Once again, just disgusting play we are seeing. And what I love so much about the competition, boys, it's not just one duo. There's so much action across the map, so many duos all looking to perform.
Yeah, I mean, I was looking at this duo right here, going for so many of these little pre-edit refreshes. That's how they were able to get, of course, the builds to go all the way up on high ground. You can see what it means to those guys. Of course, not quite closing out the victory, but they know exactly what happens when it comes to those end games. If you can consistently make 1 or 2 end games in this 5-game tournament, or this day, I should say, I mean, they're looking good for qualifying to tomorrow.
Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. Guess what? We have Levin 2K. He is standing by. Let's go see what he has for us.
Yes, Zeke, I am here in the arena with M8 Nikov himself. Nikov, you've got to tell me, man, how you feeling, how you enjoying the event so far?
Hello, I'm very happy to be here. It's very good and I love them.
It's very loud. You can say that for sure. Tell me, who are you supporting for? Of course, you're representing M8, so I'm sure you're supporting them. But tell me in particular who you're looking out for.
Of course, I support the best team in the world. Gentlemen, look this new jersey, very beautiful, and the best crowd. Look at them. Look at them.
They are the best crowd, it feels like right now. You've obviously had experience playing on stages like this as well in your career. You competed at the highest level before. Do you have any advice for any of these players on this stage here right now?
I don't know, but I think no, just focus on yourself and your game, and that's it. Huh?
Advice for his favorite players. Everybody else, he doesn't really care too much. Fair enough, fair enough. And I guess the only thing for me is, do you have anything to say to the Ultras?
I know. What can I say? Like, this is the best community in the world. French, look at them.
Allez les Bleus, as they say. Back to you, Zeke.
They are going crazy. Thank you so much for that. I mean, apparently the French community, they can cheer the loudest Denmark. I don't know, but I'm getting word we are ready to just get right back into all of the action. This is game number 3.
I just have one question. Do you think they would accept me? Can I be French for today or maybe even the weekend? Because that is absolutely insane. I'm across the stage. I got headphones on, and I hear them like I'm sitting right next to them.
I'm sure they'd be more than happy to bring you on board, Jacob. All you really need is a matching jersey at this point, right?
Ooh, I might have to grab me one of those because Sneezy and Podusai have been playing crazy. And let's that continue here in Game 3 because it starts now. This is officially the halfway point. Game 3, where teams will have their backs up against the wall if they don't reach inside of that top 25 or as close as humanly possible. I say humanly, though, because some of these guys are playing like they're robots. They're, like, insane out of this world.
And, hey, for some of these teams, keep in mind, entering game number 3, the cutoff threshold right now for that top 25 is looking to be 36 points. There is a decent amount of ground to cover, and game number 3 would be the perfect opportunity to try and find your place on the leaderboards if you haven't already.
Yeah, quick to the punch. Moneymaker getting one side of Mini Bastion, getting some minis. He at least got a silenced pistol. You see the shield getting boosted up, the turrets getting tossed down. That's at least going to give them information if they cross any one of those paths. Moneymaker cuts off the launch pad, doesn't let them go anywhere. Shots are getting fired in from multiple angles, and Moneymaker strikes first. Even with the shield turrets doing so much damage, he's able to do what he can, but it's blocked off. They went for it again. Jamon's getting trapped. It doesn't matter what help you have on your side because Moneymaker comes out on top.
The 200 IQ play to place those cones preemptively. The moment that Moneymaker saw Jamon make that initial escape, he was like, it's not happening again. Just a beautiful cutoff that leads to 2 easy eliminations there. I mean, when a duo self-isolates, well, what else are you really left to do? And Fanai Moneymaker making the most of that opportunity.
You can see Suns and Anon changing it up yet again. Said enough flying past Kenjutsu. We're ready to take it over as their own. But FKS and Adapter, they have a little bit of elevation. Things are working out just as they planned up until this point. A little bit more loot towards the top, even finding the Sharp Tooth, breaking through the walls, possibly trying to cut off their path, so that way, even if they do try to escape, there's nowhere to go. They go ahead, see each other there. Suns repositions. Anon does not, though. He gets caught off guard, but he's trying to draw them in. The turret there to spot him out. At least his position is going to be known. Suns doing what he can, trying to burst through those builds, but Adapter is there for the bait and switch. He gets spotted out as well. These turrets are giving so much information, but it's just not enough. Both Suns and Anon go down again.
That just looks so awkward for Suns and Anon. Suns especially seemed as though he hit that moment of hesitation for whether or not he should actually try to challenge up on that balcony. But hey, as far as Kenjutsu Crossing is concerned, that's not going to go Oshi's way in the slightest here. Opposite side of the map, though, at Sanguine Suites, Peterbot and Byla recognizing the fact that they're under a little bit of pressure from that mountain just north of Brutal Bastion. And again, for Peterbot and Byla, you have to consider, Peterbot's been talking all week. Top 25, that's the easiest thing in the world. But we're here in the lower bracket, and it's not looking that easy to actually be in the top 25.
Yeah, they've already pushed that one team off, trying to get Sanguine Suites as their own, but a fight that we saw in that last time goes a whole different way. Crispin Noxie able to take down P8 Sin, leaving Kitos by himself. And if this has any indication, any sort of resemblance towards that last game, it's no worries. Kitos is as strong as can be. He already picked up a 2nd place by himself. And since it's so early on in the game, there's so much opportunity for him to go back, get that reboot card, get his teammate back up, because it's already happened countless times on the day so far.
But also, as far as Kitos and PH Zen are concerned, they've built themselves a pretty surmountable amount of points here. Heading into game number 3, they had 138. We're leading in that 2nd place position on the leaderboard. Have to consider them relatively safe as far as their spot in that top 25 is concerned. So maybe not as much pressure there onto Kitos as far as whether or not he'll be able to get that reboot off onto PH Zen. For a team like Noxie and Chris, that's just another 4 points to get them that much closer.
Yeah, yesterday we saw 25th qualify with 91 points. Can't say that's going to be exact here today, but at least they have some sort of goal to achieve. Anything is definitely possible. And you saw to start the game off that it was both Wixie and Curb on the other side, putting some shots down over towards Sanguine Suites. But now the tables have turned. They try to get aggressive, but it's the angles from both Cheatin and Pixie, the game number 2 winners, that are trying to chop him down to size. You see Pixie trying to go in, but he gets pressured as well. Everything comes to a standstill momentarily, waiting for somebody to make a big move, but hopefully it's not a misstep. They're separated. This might be the saving grace for both Kirby and Wixie, because they're 2 players that are 2 different regions. As the shots get fired off, he's ready to finish this fight, breaks into the box, and takes down Cheatin. This is what we came to see. A duo from 2 different regions coming together to make one. And already coming out on top. Another shot, but that backs Wixie down.
Wixie, though, will finally get knocked. Siphon going to be immediately taken there by Pixie. Kirby, though, with another massive shot off that Sharp Tooth. Keeps pressuring inside the box. Pixie down to 1 HP. Kirby low enough as well. He actually thinks better of the immediate push in. Whoever comes out on top here might just have the opportunity to look for that reboot card, reboot opportunity, but Kirby faring certainly significantly better than Pixie for the time being. No, Pixie able to find the refresh that he wanted as far as materials are concerned. These resources taking him so far. And Kirby just unable to build up right away. He knows that he only has a limited amount of time to work with here before his opposition starts trying to close in himself.
You see him taking this time. Try to pick some augments, seeing if anything helps him in this exchange.
Relatively even, though, health-wise.
And actually, no, Curb had, even though, yeah, so they're relatively even health-wise, but Kirby at the bottom has materials. He has the extra heals. So if he wants to try to build up to take this, drain Pixie dry in terms of materials, that could be good. But you see over towards the right side, Sanguine Sweets. That's Peterbot and Bylaw. If they look on over, see this action going down, that's a possible third-party opportunity for them. Maybe even 2 eliminations. So they have to be careful which way they travel across this mountain. But it does look like Kirby is going to be the first one to try to disengage. Got the reboot card and trying to stay alive so that way he can get his teammate back into the game, because we talked about the strength in numbers is huge in an event like this.
Pretty decent tag there from Pixie, but it is going to give Kirby a decent indicator as to how far up Pixie actually is. And Kirby seemingly trying to farm out even more resources. It's clear that Kirby would like to go for the disengage, probably recognizing the fact that that pressure from Sanguine Sweets might come sooner rather than later. But we're talking about pressure here at the Creaky Compound. Sorif and Skits, they're dealing with a good chunk of aggression out of Raru and Greedy.
See, it's pausing for a moment, rightfully so. You said slap dab in the middle of Creaky. There's so many teams around them, even more pushing in. They are on the edge of zone, so you have to be very, very careful. And I think they know that, and that's why things have come to a halt. If they make that wrong move, it might not be even the original opponents that were fighting that does the brunt force of that damage. And it continues to kind of push towards the east this time around, but instead of the north, it has a southern lean when it comes to the zone. So they realize their journey does not stop here. They want to get as close to it as possible. But sometimes in this game, Taco, you have to wait for opponents to begin that rotation before you can try to escape yourself.
As far as rotations are concerned, though, for Pixie, it seems as though he's willing to take his time here on that mountain just north of Brutal Bastion. The problem at this point, though, Jacob, definitely starts to become just how much time is really worth investing here. Because it seems as though Kirby is definitely cool with just letting this go through and disengaging entirely. But I guess we do have to listen in to get more insight for as to how the players are really thinking.
Maybe we can sneak on Billy.
I'm down.
Should I come now, get the sacks?
Yeah.
Okay. You want to say come? Run. This is all like, on me. 40, I'm crowdfunding on him.
Yeah, I'm on you. Don't promote it.
Cracked him. Dead.
Nice, bro.
Don't worry.
Got him.
Nice find by both Pink and Vico to take down one. And that's a team. When they went down in Game 5 yesterday, they were in 24th place. They were forced to watch every team that got into that top 25 pass them and send them down to the lower bracket. King and Phaser, they're trying to have a second chance at life. Skits and Sorf is another one. Yesterday definitely wasn't their day. Today is a whole new chapter in their story, and this is one that I'm excited to see finish. But they're still stuck around both Greedy and Raru. Neither team really able to rotate just yet. And I think when push comes to shove, at least Greedy does have that rocket ram to try to get out of a tight spot. But if Raru doesn't have one himself, that could be possibly why they're waiting for the moment that the players above them try to rotate first. And everybody in this position is going to have to rotate because we get another far pull to the east side. So this is going to be huge.
At the same time, though, you can tell that Skits and Soar, if they want a piece of the action, if they can make it happen, they know that their surge strategy has definitely been difficult to come by. So 1 or 2 eliminations right now would put them in an excellent position to just prioritize positioning. Rotations can just be so make or break at this stage of the game, especially when you factor in that there are going to be teams throughout the match looking to acquire those forecast towers that have been such a huge help as well.
You saw that stat that popped up, 1st and 25th, the exact same amount of points through these 2 matches as they were yesterday. And if that continues, you got to look at that threshold from when they qualified. 25th yesterday in the upper bracket, had 91 points. So that's the threshold they're looking to come close to, even past, to give themselves the best chance to reach our global championship final. First place is $1 million split between 2. That's more than enough money even I know what to do with.
Well, it depends on who you're asking.
True, I might just buy food. $1 million worth of food. Noxie, Chris trying to rotate away. Hen and Vasquez trying to make up for that last game. At least they have the Rift Island underneath their belt from game 1, giving them a 15-point boost. They just have to try to continue that pace. We've done more than enough work in the first half.
Sometimes it really feels like nobody wants to be the first person to shoot. When you can tell that there are so many other teams surrounding you, the moment that you sound off shots, it just draws so much unwanted attention. And then you have to split your focus. And how many times already have we seen teams where they try to separate a duo? Maybe they're temporarily successful, but even with that circumstance on the mountain north of Brutal, but more on that later, because right now, Skit, Sorif, we're talking about them wanting to get a little bit more active here. Shot not going to connect in the way that they would have hoped. Mavinato primed, ready to go here for Skits. He looks to reposition, wants the high ground over Raru and Greedy. Crouch walking, just seeing what he can come across here. Greedy, Raru. They've got to be suspecting of who's going to drop into their box. Mavinato, shots are firing, but it's going to be Sorif who comes out on top. Ultimately, the tag team damage more than enough, and a nice, quick and clean double elimination process here for Skits and Sorif.
Like a double elbow drop off the top rope. Cleaned house, Fishy and DMK. Trying to go for Rift Island. DMK taking some damage. And that's the thing. Even though there's a lot of elevation, a lot of line of sights over on the top of Rift Island, for the players that are in the distance, for the ones that did build their surge base, that also allows them to go for those shots onto you on that Rift Island. So far, nobody really contesting it. Maybe one team nearby thinking about it. But I don't think that one's going to come to fruition. So for them, it is going to be a free 15 points. A whole lot of loot on top of that as well.
And a pretty decent spot to look over the rest of the lobby. Maybe catch wind to players like Savage and Medeal, who've got their split bases right now. Not too far off from their initial dropping point as Medeal, Savage, or at least for Medeal's concerns, he seems like he's more primarily interested on trying to get some tags in on these teams in Mega City. And I like this approach, though, from Savage and Medeal, because they're both trying to just focus in on two separate angles to attack towards that high ground territory for teams that are trying to base up on some of these buildings here in Mega City.
They've already got their spot inside of the top 25 for now. It's all about holding on to it, staying consistent. But at least they got a ton of the hard work out of the way. MK, Papa, and Shalom. Kind of looks like a free rotation in towards the zone, almost 300 above the Storm Surge threshold. So for them, it's almost looking like smooth sailing for now. Not much to worry about, but as the zone continues to pull in that direction, if they don't get it, they're going to have to battle through some of these teams.
It's looking like a predominantly dead side rotation here for MK, Papa, and Shalom. And the question is, how much surge were they actually able to acquire throughout that process? Because I've seen plenty of times teams, they'll have great positioning because of dead side rotations, but they won't have the surge to go with it, and then they're forced into moments of desperation where they're essentially forfeiting their ideal positioning and oftentimes their lives in the process, because what other option do you have when you've got that Storm Surge damage raining in on you?
Man, you see Clicks looking towards the backside of the zone. He's trying his best to not to have to worry about that Storm Surge. Doing good so far, 259. Rapid and Batman Booga were the ones positioned behind them. You see them, the yellow markers on your mini-map down below. Since it is going to be in the storm, they're going to have to rotate, give up some of that elevation. That way they can save some of that HP and those heals for later on in the same game. Kaizen and Clement. A lot of teams kind of falling behind in this game when it comes to the zone. At least 4 of them right before our very eyes taking damage. Each second pass is going to make it harder for them to try to survive. Forced to use a lot of those resources in order to get that HP back. But if you look at both Kaizen and Clement, they have more than enough heals to make it possible to get in toward the zone.
Decent amount of teams also looking to conglomerate over at the Drift Ridge. When Racetrack is this poppin' and you see teams like Clement and Kaizen that have to run through that territory, you have to expect that it is going to be incredibly difficult to actually make it through unscathed. Or they might have a nice opportunity to look for some of those third-party circumstances. Only time will tell, but right now, the story for Fatch and Pamso, definitely seems to be as if they are already situated. A really nice elevated position so far, well ahead of where they need to be. Vico and Pink could definitely be in some trouble here.
Bamsu and Fabs, they spotted out a rift far along that ridge, waiting for somebody to try to go for it. Probably being their plan A, waiting for the zone to pull in. That's where they're gonna put their eyes back on it. As King and Phaser, they're just trying to reunite, get the most out of those flashes. We've already seen King put on a show yesterday in the upper bracket with that sniper. Trying to do it here yet again. And you can see the difference in augments between the two teams. First shotgun is gonna have the commonality between the two, but now they get aggressed on that high ground. Phaser trying to reposition. That's AIM and Zazi, who aren't afraid to take a fight against Brazil's best, and they come out on top for now. King goes down. Another team drops in. That's Cal Gamer and 7-Man. They take advantage of the third party, getting all the loot, all the resources, and they already had a good loadout as well. The MK Alpha over towards Relentless Retreat. They're just adding each tool to their tool belt.
That's just salt in the wounds there. To have to watch your opposition just reap the benefits of your bounty. No celebration time for eliminations in certain situations. 7-Man, Cal Gamer, though, definitely more than happy for what they managed to stumble across. Other teams, though, that would certainly be happy if they could add a couple more points, a couple more eliminations to their count. Duke and Edgy, certainly one of them. Team that definitely struggled throughout day number 1, but here in day 2, hoping to have the resurgence in order to find themselves in that finals lobby for the Global Championship Sunday.
Yeah, you can see where the zone's heading on this game as well. Very, very similar to that last. We're going up mountains, down water. You got to be able to prepare for that, and luckily for them, it did just happen once before. They got to be able to try to mimic the blueprint if they did make it far, change things up if they did not, as Kanata and Agers this time around trying to rotate as a full duo, leaving nothing for one person to try to handle. And so far, it is looking well. They're trying to go up the side of this mountain where not too many teams are positioned so far, but they run into both Lucy and Steno momentarily, who are getting caught sleeping there for a moment, so that gives them a free path towards the zone. And for them, that's a little bit of a blessing. On the other side, Rapid, not feeling that same thing. The slurp juice is going to be popped, though. It runs out just as we tune on board. So it's going to be up to them to try to find some sort of a refresh. You see QNDX trying to shoot above with the Breacher, maybe to drop somebody down because they realize without no builds, without any heals, now becoming the focus, they have to think outside of the box to make this happen.
Right now, QND is just hoping that somebody else can divert the attention of some of these teams surrounding them, but it is a relentless amount of suppressive fire into these box edits, and QND Rapid, they finally get a moment to focus, but they're not the only team that's found themselves in sticky situations. We've got other teams as well, still looking to power through, still looking to make their way, cheating, turn and burn situations. Don't know who Fahad thought he was shooting at alongside Hero, but Cheatin, he had everything in his arsenal to make some magic happen. Granted, Hero and Fahad were relatively low stepping into that engagement, but Cheatin, not one to stray away from a clutch situation.
That he might be the hero, but I'm the villain of this story. He's just looking around. 45 materials, 5 minis. But it's the HP that is really lacking, because you can see the Storm Surge is well above the threshold as well. Everything going their way, and that goes to show that these early game battles, it is a risk, but it has a huge reward on it as well. As a lot of these teams finally make it to the zone, but most of them are stacked up on the west side, a little bit more on the southern edge. As Batman, Booga, and Rapid, they made that rotation around Mega City, trying to dodge line of sight to both Clicks and Epicwell and everybody else on the side of that mountain. They've been doing a good job. They were at the top of the leaderboard, and they're holding on to their position. You see them there in 6th place. If they can continue this consistency, remember the 91-point threshold. It isn't official, but you got to imagine it's going to be close.
But depending on where Batman Booga actually chooses to throw that business turret, he might be able to catch some of these teams off guard, or at least get some decent information. So much congestion, though, building up in some of these mid-tier layers. Mr. Savage, Badil, looking for a way to turf through. They know they're going to have to take some fights first before they can get anywhere. Clownski, Grolls, going to fall right in front of their very eyes. Pink and Vico surrounding Mr. Savage and Vidil as well. It's going to be 2 players trying to enter the box.
Wow.
Ursa eliminated off a rip. Mr. Savage did not come to mess around. And Vidil, immediate backup fire. These two are just tearing through right now.
That was huge. They didn't even look the direction of Mr. Savage, not even once. And that was 2 huge shots that he used to his advantage. As Clicks and Epic will finally find their way in towards zone, but as soon as they do, it pulls towards the left, where a lot of those teams are congested on that side of the map compared to the north side, and they're ready to fight their way through. But very, very little heals to their name. At least Epic will, once it slows down just a little bit, can throw that business turn down, try to get some information, but for now, they're trying to beat everybody else to the punch. They don't want to be the ones that are being held out by more than half of the lobby, and you can see the different elevated teams, some high in the sky, others far below, but they're finding any nook and cranny to go through, but it's Clicks who actually falls to Vidil. Even Byla picking up an elimination. Kaizen's left by himself. Epic Well trying to survive. He's doing everything that he can because placement points haven't really set in. A huge shot towards the back, and he goes down before able to stabilize and use that slurp juice, and that's going to be a huge treasure for somebody to find.
Massive for Lucy and Steno, as they're the ones we saw a little bit further towards the center of the zone, but now it's going to be a scramble. Everybody's got to get a move on in order to make it, as the moving zones will become all the more problematic for these players to deal with. But Vidil and Savage, they've done an excellent job at just holding down their positioning in that mid ground.
Can say it looked like a safe rotation, but don't be fooled. Players are hiding around every corner. Shields are going to get dropped. It's Cal Gamer and 7-man showing up big here on the high ground for now, but ninth zone. We've seen so many teams get tossed below due to rocket rams and sneak attacks. Kaizen's trying to break in and do one of those himself, recycling a bounce pad, hot on the heels of Frosty, but he doesn't go as high, so that player's going to be able to escape for now. And you see Kaizen, he's trying to recycle as many builds as possible, but he gets tagged up, forced to use, down to 5. At least he has some heals to work with, so he has a chance to stagger himself, but only for so long. He's down on the threshold. MK pop-up falls, leaving Shalom by himself. He has more than enough to work with.
But that's only temporary, because 25 builds can be gone just like that, especially when there's so much pressure being applied both above and below you. Shalom just trying to figure out which direction he wants to go next. Maybe spotted out Hen directly next to his box for the time being, but Kaizen, he's still making the most of things. Lash Splash going to be used, but a rocket ram to quicken the rotation. Jess has to hope that nobody spots him on the way back down. Miro is going to be the first that he comes up behind. Kaizen actually finds the knock onto Miro. The elimination siphon, a little bit of materials refresh, but Cooper with a quick revenge.
Almost a huge W for him. Into the top 13 we go. Majority of the placement points have already been picked up to this point. But if you want to make sure you qualify, you got to continue going. Vidil under pressure. Mr. Savage said it himself. Vidil is someone I trust to frag out at the end, to pick up these points. If he has a moment to stabilize, he could get some HP back. Shields on top of that, but running out of resources, fresh out. He's going to have to think of something outside of the box, inside of somebody else's box, into the distance, lands a shot onto Source. That gives him a little bit of a speed boost thanks to accelerated Maven, even gets a knock onto Peterbot before going down altogether.
The sabotage, though, from Vidil onto Peterbot. That's going to stop Peterbot's run for the time being. Kanata, though, still keeping things moving right now, all by his lonesome. Doesn't have Aegis with him, does have a nice pick-off view, but won't be able to connect. That Preacher so good at destroying builds, but can definitely be tough to land some shots.
Cal Gamer on the top, along with Nutty. Hopefully they don't run into each other, but Cal Gamer knows where his teammate did go down. Even though the reboot card, some would say he's going after, but it's all that materials into the top 5. 3 players are running around as solos. Byla is going to be one of them, but the Kings on top of the castle for now is going to be polarized and scented as they fall down below. Cal Gamer was another one. A nice shot's going to be landed, but no resources continue to build up for polarized, but Scented is there. They put the pressure on. A lot of damage, and the siphon goes through. They clean house to take him out. Byla flies next. 2v2 situation. NA versus NA. Duke and Edgy versus polarized and Scented, but this is going to be drawn out just a little bit. The building of Mega City, it's indestructible. It's hard to break through, but Duke finally finds the wall that he can bypass. A little bit of builds, a little bit of resources left.
Duke and Edgy, they know that they needed this one. It's been a tough time so far in these first couple of games. And for game number 3, this could definitely be their moment. Polarized and Los, though, they're not looking to let it go anytime soon. Up the center and immediately taken back down. Edgy stood no hope here. Now it's Duke left in a solo clutch situation. 2 of NA's finest directly above him. What? Massive shot, though, onto second. Duke with the back-to-back, and it's a victory royale out of nowhere.
I thought their finals run was insane enough, but they have topped it tenfold. Probably one of the best clutches we have witnessed in Fortnite history. And I'm going to throw it on over to Frankie on the stage to pick a piece of their mind of what just happened.
Duke, that was one of the plays of the tournament so far. The 2v2 situation, you're left solo on your own, and suddenly you jump and you get that shot. Talk me through it.
I'm just in shock. That was like, I don't know, I just one-pumped the first kid and side jump and just hit the other one. I don't know, that was crazy.
It was centered and polarized. You took out your North American brothers. Does that make it any more satisfying?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does.
And I've got to come over to you. That must have been terrifying watching your partner in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going for a play and it didn't really work, but I'm just playing the best player in the world. You just won it. I don't know.
So, Edgy, what's happening then when your partner is solo? Are you talking to him, or are you just letting him feel and listen to what's happening?
I mean, since I'm knocked, I can't really see much, so I'm just kind of letting him focus, do his own thing. But I mean, if I was spectating him, I'd be able to help him out a bit, but right there, I wasn't able to help.
And just how much did you need this victory royale today?
A lot, just so like I could get the qual out the way. Yeah, needed a lot.
And hopefully we will see you in Sunday. I mean, the chances are now very high. What would it mean for you to raise that trophy tomorrow?
It'd mean the world to me.
And you?
I mean, it's just my dream. I just want to, it'd be amazing.
Well, Dukes, I hope your dreams come true. Thank you so much, Edgy, as well. Congratulations, Copenhagen, let's hear it!
Dukes, what on earth are we seeing transpire here on LAN? There is no world where stuff like this can happen, and Dukes just says, watch me. My gosh, the story of this as well. Scented up against Edgy, old teammates. Edgy goes on to win an FNCS. Scented looking for that title. Old teammates head to head, and Dukes is the one to slam the door closed.
I mean, I think we all knew that Dukes had it in him. We've seen him perform on a high level for such a long time. To lose Edgy in this moment, and like you said, the edit with the one pump right there, the side jump, and then another was absolutely incredible, Levin.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I was getting ready to come up here and start talking about how I didn't think that was the best play from Edgy, and I was wondering why he decided to go up on his own and Dukes wasn't there. But Dukes just completely throwing out the window, right? There are no situations where you expect the solo player to win that, right?
I mean,
you know, you don't expect him to go in and just hit both one pumps just so easily.
You saw Duke's reaction. I don't even think he expected to be able to do that. So I cannot wait to see how far they're going to be jumping up now. And that was just such an incredible end to that game. You know that's going to give them the confidence boost that they need.
Yeah.
NA going head to head for that last victory royale moment. Now, of course, I didn't forget one big key factor here. It's 11-2K, and Kelly Link are joining us here on the analyst desk. You guys can give them a big warm welcome, but my gosh, that was insane. Let's jump to the standings. Remember, if you're just tuning in, this is the Global Championship. At the end of the day, we're looking to come top 20 to move on to tomorrow. Chubbs, Bryce, they started the day with the Victory Royale, and they have not let go of that #1 spot. But as we take a look at this leaderboard, I mean, this stuff is changing. Agers and Kanata. Yesterday's performance, lackluster. Today, though, a top 2.
Yeah, I mean, Kanata definitely having a better day now that he's not having to go up to the likes of Thomas HD and Malibuka right there. But even when he does lose Ager, you know that Kanata is focusing in right now and is able to grab some great eliminations with Agers.
Yeah, and I mean, he's repaying the favor, right? It was only a couple games ago where Agers was the one that was, you know, doing his best solo sort of efforts to try and survive in these games. I think the big thing here is, like you said, right, they're not having to deal with the pressure of going up against Thomas and Malibuka. Kanata himself said, look, we're going to come in today, we're going to be much more prepared, and they're definitely delivering on that right now.
For sure, for sure. Now, just a reminder here, we are halfway through the competition today. So the players will have a little bit of a moment here to get up, go grab a snack, go talk to the coaches, whatever, decompress, because we have 2 more games before we call today close. Much to discuss so far. I'd love to kind of get your guys' thoughts. You've been watching the games. I wanted to kind of see where you guys are at coming in so far.
I mean, for me, I think we've seen a lot of incredible performances from teams that I think a lot of people kind of wrote out. And I just want to talk about Batman, Booga, and Rapid. Batman Booga has been a player that has grown over the last few years right here, and jumping up into this 3rd place spot, I think showcases it so well.
Yeah, 100%. You know, it's not an easy situation, especially coming into this stage of the competition when you're in that lower bracket. It's very, very, very difficult. Of course, you see now the effects for Duke and Edgy in terms of that performance has been on them, right, where they're now sitting in 14th. They're a lot more comfortable of a position for them. But then when you look at some of the other names here, you know, there are a couple of these names where, even though they're currently in that top 25, they need, you know, to continue that, because they are definitely names people will expect. And just sitting on the bubble there, Poda Science, Snazy, 23rd. I personally want to see them qualify just because I want the M8 fans here on Sunday. You know what I mean? I want to hear them going loud. But of course, very, very close to being on the edge there.
Another big team that we're looking at right now in that screen was Fatch and Pamsto, another fan favorite right there. Very close to the bubble of the 25 that are going to be moving forward to tomorrow.
That's right. And I think something we need to call out from yesterday is in the top 25, yesterday was 91 points. That's the target that got people in yesterday. Now, of course, today's a different day. That's fine. But still, we know if you can even just break 100 points, you very well might be guaranteed to go to the Global Championship Grand Finals. Levin, I wanted to pick your brain a little bit. So right now, yesterday and a little bit of today, we're seeing NA maybe show up a little more aggressively than we see EU has. Why do you think that is?
A big part of what I've seen in these games that's been super interesting is just actually how the mid-ground and low-ground layers are being played, right? I think one thing about the NA teams that we've seen that's been so effective for them, a lot of them being a lot more proactive, right, in these moving zones, making sure they're getting ahead, looking back for refreshes where possible. Even in situations where we're going into these end games, a lot of the time the NA duos are together, right? You look at some of the teams from other regions, a lot of solo play having to go on, and it's not an easy lobby to solo clutch in, right? Whereas these NA duos good at very much staying together, staying ahead of the zone, and being able to capitalize that.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that we're also seeing a lot of these NA players kind of pulling out some not necessarily unheard of strats, but I do think that they're kind of surprising the rest of the lobby in this situation.
Yeah, do you guys feel like nerves are playing a factor? Because it just feels like this is the time that we need to be pulling out everything we have, right? With 2 games left to go, we have to make sure we do everything we can to be in the top 25. A lot of duos outside of that bubble, that time, that window is closing very, very rapidly. So what are just a handful of things we can maybe change up? Is it the off-spawn fights? Is it Storm Surge? Like, what is getting in the way?
Well, we've already seen some changes, especially in that game where JMod decided to change his drop spot from Clicks to Moneymaker, and obviously that didn't work out for him because Moneymaker was able to grab that elimination. So I don't know if a lot of these teams are going to be trying to change their drop spots, more so how they handle their drop spots instead of going for the 50-50, maybe backing off a little bit. And we are seeing a lot of these duos have a good time where they know when to disengage.
Yeah, for sure. For me, I look and I go, it's going to be a lot about what happens in the mid game, right? I think that's where in any sort of global competition, when you have so many different teams from so many different regions, the difference making a lot of these games is what you can actually do, the places you maneuver, how you get your surge, right? Certain teams are accustomed to doing things in their region, right? They know the team in a POI nearby is going to behave in a certain way or take certain positions. You come into this lobby, it's completely different. You know, certain places where you would typically go for big damage that go to your surge total, you can't go there now. You're not getting that same damage. How do you adapt to that? That's why a lot of these teams are struggling, and that's where you're going to have to, you know, make up the difference if you want to start pushing yourself into the top 25.
I love this conversation. We'll continue to talk about this, but first, Mini Miner. We've got him standing by with Amar. Mini Miner. Let's hear what he has to say.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Absolutely. I'm here with the legend, Amar himself. Everybody, we got a little bit of round of applause there. I mean, you're a legend. I mean, let's give it up then. Okay. He's a legend. I mean, we don't need to tell you that. But, I mean, you are a legend in the EU scene, right? It's a global competition. For those that don't know you, what do you do? What is your role in the community?
Basically, I'm doing like viewing parties for like, I think 4 years now. I was playing competitive myself. I was summer skirmish winner week 6, I think, back in the day. So I was a pro, kind of, but then I just got too old, too bad. Yeah, and then the stage is like for all the young people, you know, making their bag, their living out of it, and being with passion about it. And same with me, but I'm doing viewing parties, you know, and this is what I do, and I host my tournaments, and yeah, some in-game stuff. That's what I do.
I love it. Now, of course, you are here in attendance doing a viewing party yourself. Tell me what you thought of the game so far. Have you been enjoying it?
Oh, I'm saying yesterday was crazy. Like yesterday, every end game was hilarious. Like you couldn't predict who was winning, who was on top, and you know they're making clutches. This Siphon is the best invention ever. I think everyone should applaud for Siphon here in this hall. Siphon is the best invention ever because I think the clutches you can make with Siphon is crazy. Okay, sorry Epic Games for saying that, but I had to do this. But yeah, I think like today was also like really focused because like a lot of German players are playing right now, and I'm cheering for them. Vidil just qualified with Mr. Savage. Like, I just love this. Reason has to qualify with Janice, and Vico has to qualify with Pink. Same as Click, so, you know, I'm cheering for a lot of players. Hen as well, yeah. My boys are over there.
That's great. Now, we know who you're cheering for. Of course, you're doing a viewing party. What has your chat reaction been like? Tell us, give us a little insight into those vibes. Who are they cheering for?
Oh, same as me. I think that's why we're so similar. And also for the Frenchies, of course, for Snazy, Partizan, you know, make it up for them. Gentlemates, great organization as well, yeah. They're doing good stuff.
That's great to hear. Now, thank you very much for coming on this interview. Just quickly before we go, where can people find you online?
They can find me anywhere with Amar, yeah.
Amar, easy as that. Thank you so much for coming on, and we'll leave it back to the desk.
Thank you so much, Amar. It is fantastic to see you, and we're happy that you could be here for this event. Man, oh man, there's still so much to talk about. We have about another 9 minutes before we start kicking the competition back off. Let's talk about Storm Surge. You kind of talked about it a little bit, but I want to break that down more. It seems like a lot of these duos are having these issues. Now, of course, I do want to set that to the lens of this is a global championship. These are the very best duos in the world, so I'd imagine Storm Surge is definitely difficult.
I mean, it's definitely difficult, but if we're going to talk about the best players, then we got to talk about Savage and Vidil, of course. What they did in game number 3 to deal with their Storm Surge is that they were able to kind of split up just a little bit so that they were getting better angles onto Mega City, especially with how the zone pulled, making sure that they had every position covered there. So I love that strategy that they went with.
Yeah, it's a game of numbers, right? You know, you want to try to have that bigger field of view as possible so you have the chance to see as many teams. And it's no good just seeing them. You didn't have to connect in here, but it's Mr. Savage and Vidil we're talking about here. They got the ability to hit them kind of shots.
Another great strategy was what we saw 7man and Cal Gamer do, where they just third-partied 2 teams there. And that definitely seemed to work out for them, being able to make it all the way into the end game.
Yeah, for sure. There's so many little things, like even carrying a player down onto the slurp plants, having it help regenerate them, and then continuing to build up that damage. Our players, how have they been dealing with it? Take a look at this listen in.
Watch out, there's more people in Tilted. How many white did you bring?
I have you have two medkits on you. I have 2 medkits too.
Okay.
I brought 4.
Look north. People are gonna get ahead of us north. We fry them. Northwest.
I'm staring at north.
40 crack.
Yep. The recheck, look.
Yeah. No, I can't.
Okay. Take them.
30.
Yeah, we're gonna have to get to the ridge. Come. The peeking. Stop. This is way here, then we just crash pad, I think. We need to look for some surge, wow. There's a team right here, by the way. I'm waiting for them to move.
60.
Nice.
Maybe we can sneak on Billy.
I'm down.
Shall I come now? Get this fast?
Yeah.
Okay. Who goes here? Come. Run. This is all like. On me. 40. I'm crash padding on him.
Yeah, I'm on you. Don't from outside.
Cracked him. Dead.
Nice, bro.
Don't worry.
Got him.
Crazy stuff. Storm Surge, all types of ways of dealing with it, but you have to deal with it.
Yeah, 100%. I think that was the key, right? all the different types of ways, right? We saw certain players making these sneaky plays where you're trying to sneak up on a team you know is not maybe going to be aware of where you exactly are. You have teams just basing up, straight up. You have players actually just waiting for anything, right? When you're shambles with Surge, you'll just take anything you can get, right? We saw that kind of situation as well. So many different ways to deal with that.
Fantastic. Oh, there we go. Well, guess what? We actually have a very special interview. French community, I feel like y'all are going to be really excited. We got Frankie standing by with Stacey and Photoside.
I do. Stacey, what's it like hearing your fans out in the arena?
Yeah, this is amazing. Yeah, thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, all of fans.
He says merci. And they hear him and they love it. I've got to come to you, Photoside. I need to ask, what went wrong yesterday?
Yesterday we have a problem with the storm surge, and we didn't play our game, so we did a bad game. And today I think we play already better, but it's not finished. There is 2 more games, and I hope we qualify.
I hope you qualify too, because you've given me this interview, so now I have to root for you. You're currently in 23rd position. I want to ask about the first game. We saw you go to Rift Island, but you didn't really fight Hen for it. So tell me, is that something you're intending to do going forward?
Yeah, we take the island because we want to farm more, because we have a lot low mats, and we got below third. We need to hit some negate, and we try to fight someone, but I die, and Podasai clutch this game.
Photoside has been left on his own early in games 1 and game 2. You definitely struggle with mats as well in game 2. Tell me how you feel when you are left to solo clutch it out.
I think solo I'm the best player, so I'm very confident, and when I'm solo I'm unstoppable. So I clutch every game, and that's it.
Well, I can't wait to see if you can clutch out a game later today. But before I let you go, because the fans are out there cheering your every answer, would you like to say something to them in French? I'll let the two of you stand side by side and share the microphone.
Can I say it in French?
Bien sûr.
Merci beaucoup à tous les fans de Gentleman, ça fait vraiment plaisir que vous soyez tous là. Vous nous apportez beaucoup de soutien, on vous voit tous crier quand on arrive et tout. Vraiment, merci énormément d'être venus. Et puis on va essayer de se qualifier pour vous rendre fiers.
Une dernière fois les gars, gentle.
He's going for the win. Merci à tous. Thank you so much. Thank you fans as well.
Thank you so much, Frankie. What a fantastic interview. You can see the French community going absolutely crazy. I believe the saying is "Allez les bleus." Is that right?
That's all the French I know, really.
That's it. That's it. I hope that was enough for y'all. We love y'all. They're so passionate. So are the players. The fans here have been absolutely amazing. If you were able to make it out here, man, the energy here, the vibes here, it's just unlike anything else.
And you have to feel that that's definitely inspiring the French duo, with all these players, all of these fans respecting, giving them shout outs and everything. And I think that in an instance where they might have had some tournament jitters, I think those are now gone.
Well, yeah, you'd say that, but then again, it's like they're 23rd right now, sitting just on the edge, right? It's getting close for them. They have to make good use of these last couple of games. I think they can do it, though. I think they've shown today that in a clutch situation, one of them is going to step up. Of course, it's been Podosai a couple times, but I really do believe in these guys and their ability to make it through.
I mean, definitely with that high-set accelerant shotgun right there, he was able to not just grab eliminations, but also move through the zone as a solo player. Mobility is so important. So being able to do that, being able to just get a few more points with that was definitely beneficial.
For sure. Another duo that jumps to mind, Janice and Reason. Amar actually talked about them on his recent interview. Another duo looking to end the day in the top 25. How do you guys feel like they've been performing so far on the day?
I think you'd probably say they're near enough safe, right? I think that's what Amar feels. I think that's probably what they will be feeling as well. Realistically, Janice and Reason are a team that I don't think should have been playing in the last chance major whatsoever, right? I think this is a team that is more than good enough to have qualified straight for the majors. In fact, if you rewind your memories all the way back in Major 1, after day 1 of the grand finals, they went first place. Like, they should have been here when you think about it, right? And so I think, you know, these guys will be happy knowing that they've probably done enough to make it in there, and they'll have a big chip on their shoulders coming into Sunday, because definitely a team with a lot of pedigree, a lot of fans, a high status, and all the ability in the world.
So you're already calling that they're making it into Grands tomorrow.
Wait. Is that 11 2K guarantee?
I can guarantee that Janice and Reason will be playing tomorrow.
Well, we have proof. We have proof.
The script is leaked.
That's it. That's it. The script of the future is leaked. But of course, for all you fans, if you believe in duos out there, please just shower them in love and support. Tweet at them. Send them, I don't even know, all kinds of messages on all social medias. Just support them, right? These are some of the very best players in the world. They've worked so hard to be there, be here. So please just send love their way. We are getting closer and closer, and all my heart can think about is that bubble, the pressure. If I am anxious, I know these players are.
Well, I think a duo that's probably not too anxious right now is Chubbs and Bryce. And although they didn't have the best game 3 that we saw, I think they went around in zone 9, which again is pretty good after their performances in games 1 and 2 right now. I think that they're feeling pretty confident.
Yeah, no, these guys have been very, very good today. And that's an understatement, right, when you're in first place. Chubbs and Bryce, they've just been so locked in, right? I've been to the player lounge a couple times throughout the event, and every single time, I always see Bryce just there, grinding, locked in, ready, practicing, because they knew coming into today, they were not going to let this moment slip past them, right? They came in with clear intentions, and they're showing that they're going to be a formidable team come tomorrow.
Yeah, is there anybody else that kind of stands out or you know, you would argue is going to kind of affect the lobby as a whole? I mean, Mr. Savage, the deal, right? Currently sitting in that top 10. Probably a lock. I'd say highly likely, 99.9%.
Stop jinxing these
My bad. Caster curse, my bad.
Nah, they are locked.
Yeah.
They're close.
Is that 11? I'm just kidding.
No. We're not doing that again, mate. We're not doing that whole spiel.
For sure, but you know, these guys being able to come through tomorrow, again, maybe a duo that probably should not have made it as far as the last chance, but it should have kind of gotten through before, but...
One placement off, right?
One placement off, right?
Off in Major 2.
How can we maybe see them affect the lobby tomorrow?
I think, honestly, that they're doing a pretty good job showcasing their ability today right here. They've kind of shown a lot of strats that showcase why they are in the position that they're in the top 10 right now. I think they're doing a great job, and I think they just kind of need to keep going with what they're doing.
It's interesting, right? Because when you talk about the effect they can have on the lobby tomorrow, I'm going to expect something very different from them. I think when you look at the way they've played throughout the year, the way they've even played here, it's been impressive in terms of then maybe shaking up what we expect to see tomorrow. I wouldn't maybe go that far, right? Maybe with the Chubbs and Bryce, it's different because we've seen in these games the way they're playing height is a bit different to some of the NA teams. You know, we've seen the EU teams dominate. Not many of the NA teams been playing for height. Those guys were. So, again, when I see shake-ups in the lobby, I think, okay, how do these guys come into the equation? Savage of it was more of like they slot right in, right? You sort of know what you can expect from them. They slot right in. A couple end games here and there, you're going to see them popping up. Obviously, as a Mr. Savage and Vidal fan, I want to see more than that, right? But I think that's where they sort of fit in. It's a lot more of a comfortable fit for them.
Well, you're saying, you know, they're not really going for height right there, but with all the performances we've seen from the low and mid ground these last 3 games, I don't think they need to go for height. They're grabbing eliminations, and they're also able to take that first place spot from the low to mid ground, which isn't a typical thing we see. That's
right. Well, we are getting word. Games are ready to go for us. Wait, just kidding us in a moment, but I do want to highlight here. Let's talk about Clicks.
Oh, yeah.
Clicks fans, Arena!
Oh, yeah.
Let me hear you!
Clicks fans, are you guys awake? Are the Clicks fans awake?
I think they're awake.
They're awake. Clicks and Epic Whale currently in 22nd. The job's not done, right? We're right here on the bubble. A single mistake could have them fall out of that top 25. But for the duo right now, are they performing at your expectations currently?
I mean, you know, Epic Will has that 6X on his name for a reason. You know that he's an incredible champion, and Clicks, obviously, a great player as well. And they're making it to the end game pretty much every single time. They're just having some issues getting into that 11th zone, 12th zone position there. But they definitely have the aggression. They're not having any issues off of drop or rotations in this moment. And honestly, I kind of like that Epic Whale is setting himself up for any situation. We saw him carry the turret there into the end game, which we also saw Batman Booga do as well, which just gives you a little bit more safety.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about that duo is that I actually don't think it's been one of their best performances, but they're just doing enough right to stay within that threshold. I think we're having to see it come down to a lot of individual brilliance from each one in these end games, right? How many games have we seen now where Clicks is hitting a couple big back-to-back shots and he goes down, or Epic Whale's doing the same thing? again, it's like they've not been playing the best, but they're making things happen. They're making things work. What happens in these last couple games, Kelly, when they maybe do start to play at their best?
I mean, I'm excited to see. I think the only issue that we're having here is that these mid-game engagements that they're having, they're using a lot of mats and then not able to recover that towards the end game.
Yeah.
So if they're able to kind of work around that a little bit, they're going to have a much better time in our final 2 games.
And on top of that, many duos, right, finding themselves in these situations where it's just a solo rider. They're kind of finding these engagements where they're trying to split up the map as much as they can, and then suddenly a duo's waiting. They're strike, hey, this person's by himself, take them down. I feel like, you know, is that the kind of route we want to go? Is that high risk, high reward worth it? Savage earlier on, the very beginning of the show was like, yeah, it's a risk, it's a reward, but is that worth it?
Which route would you go, Zeke?
Nah, man, I'm too safe.
No, Zeke, I just want to know, like, which route would you go?
I would go safe.
It doesn't matter what route you go. We don't care about what Zeke has to say.
See, I walked into it.
I don't care what Zeke has to say. Look, if you are one of those players, I think ultimately in crunch time, because this is crunch time now for a lot of these players.
Yeah.
You just got to go with what you're used to, what the formula is. I don't think you should do anything too dissimilar to what's gotten you here. You've been such a phenomenal player, you know, at times this year. That's why you're sitting on that stage right now. Don't switch up anything too crazy. Don't get too, you know, insane up there.
And I think we are seeing that from a lot of our solar players. I think we actually saw it from Agers in game number 2, where he was able to use incredible rotates through his augments. And even though he was kind of dodging all of these players, he was able to use exactly what he had in his toolbox and use that to his advantage and be able to place even higher than what we would expect him to in a solo situation.
For sure, Kanata there. He's just doing him, you know, being him. There was a duo I did want to highlight. It's Cal Gamer and 7man from Middle East. Right now, it's looking like this could be the second Middle Eastern team to qualify, go into grand finals.
Yeah.
That's huge.
And we saw how confident Cal Gamer was yesterday, right? You know, when he was being interviewed, you know. The most confident man in the arena, potentially, you know, how confident he was. And understandably so, right? They've you know, had success in their region, you know, back-to-back major champions over there, and now sort of looking to deliver here. And I think it's been a much better day from them, right? We've been seeing them over, you know, being able to claim the mythic weapons and sort of go about their day in a much more controlled and comfortable manner.
Yeah, that mythic MK7 definitely helped them out just a little bit, but also their positioning, even in situations, again, right here, when we see him in a solo situation, able to do whatever he can, grabbing 6 eliminations before being dropped, and using these opportunities also to third-party other players, grab as many elimination points as they can, too. I mean, again, I've said it a few days ago, Cal Gamer is an incredibly intelligent player. He just studies the game more than anyone that I know, and that's showcased today.
For sure. I wanted to highlight Brazil here for a moment.
Oh,
We
yeah.
saw them performing well just a couple games ago. PH Zin and Kitos. I feel like, you know, we haven't quite had the BR representation as we did at Invitational, but I still hear y'all up there, which is crazy. For PHN and Kitos, I want to see more of their play. I kind of want to see more of what they're capable of.
I mean, we saw what they were capable of in game number 2 there, grabbing a handful of eliminations and finding at the exact right moment on the mid ground to make their move to the high ground, and that's what put them up into the very final moments of that game.
I think the interesting thing with a team like this, right, is the pressure that comes with having done well at an event before, right, where people sort of come into this one going, hey, we expect Kitos and PHN to come in and do their thing. And obviously, you know, when you're playing here in that sort of lower bracket, it isn't necessarily where you'd want to be and where you'd want to have to do it, but they have still showed up where necessary today, and I think that's been impressive. Some of these shots here were absolutely spectacular, and so more of that tomorrow would definitely be ideal for sure.
And of course, another Brazilian team, King and Phaser, showing up so huge. See, there we go. That's right. We got to give the French community a run for their money, BR. That's what this is about. Thank you.
Zeke's trying to start rioting there, man. You got to calm down.
I just want, we all are here because of our love for Fortnite. And if that means we go crazy, we chant, we cheer, we laugh, we cry, I'm about that life. But for King and for Phaser, King has surprised me. I feel like for me, King is one of those guys. It just doesn't matter what his situation is. And he's like, oh, I've got nothing. Doesn't matter. All I have is 2 sniper rifles. That's crazy. How about double headshots? Like, he just is so adaptable so quickly. I don't know how anyone could deal with that if they were to go all the way.
I mean, we saw King set himself up for success as well, and I just think that it hasn't really worked the way that they wanted to just yet for today. Obviously, we saw the incredible snipe headshots yesterday, and we saw him again earlier on in the day today with, I think it was 2 snipers, so he's definitely prepping himself for that moment once again, but he's just missing the mark a little bit.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? Because, again, it's like the highlight plays have been there. You know, no doubt about that. We're getting them highlight plays, but we want to see more by way of the actual standings on the leaderboard, right? 43rd place. We want to see them a lot higher than that. We want to see them competing tomorrow, I did.
For sure, for sure. Is there any duos that are standing out to you we haven't had a chance to cover yet?
I mean, Batman Booga. I've already talked about them though.
Okay,
yeah,
you can't. Again with the NA West, Kelly's always like, yeah.
Any opportunity.
Talk about a duo? How about someone for NA West?
Oh, you know what? We talked about them yet? I don't know if we talked about them.
Okay, all right. What do you want to talk about Batman Booga besides him being incredible?
He's incredible. That's all I wanted to say.
Any opportunity to bring up an NAS team. Let me just bring up a random EU team. Just bring up any EU team and let's just talk. You know,
that's why I have all of you separate. It's like I want to talk about NA.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Vivid, where's he? NA West. Kelly, where's she? 11-2K, Mini Minor, EU. It's just an easy little moment there to do. I wanted to kind of highlight here a listen in from Dukes and Edgy. Wanted to see and catch up with their comms in one of their plays. Take a look.
3 minis. I'm like pretty shammed.
We just crash bed in from here.
Okay. Look for Surge. 55 above. Look, hard left.
Okay.
Got cracked. Dirty blue.
Yeah.
These teams are getting it. They're coming. Look. Spray this.
100.
33 white. Can you crash on us?
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. I'm doing it.
It curves to the left. I'm in.
Nice. I got 2 kills there.
Man, I still just cannot believe that moment from Dukes earlier. I just look at Edgy going, oh my god. We did not get to see that before. I'm so thankful we have a million cameras pointed at the stage because, man, just to celebrate and bask in that moment, like a victory out, let's just be clear here. Your duo doesn't always need to get a victory out to place high, right? Consistency will always be king. But man, does that victory out feel good, especially in an arena like this, in front of these fans.
Yeah, that's the joy of a man who knows he's been saved at the end there, you know? when Edgy went down, he was thinking, oh no, it's 2v2, I've just gone down, oh my goodness. And then Duke clutches and he's like, let's go, you know? He realizes in that moment, like, everything went to plan, you know, nothing wrong there. And of course, right, both incredible players, you know, we saw them during Major 2 and they won. And a lot of people, you know, sort of looked at them and went, yeah, man, it was a bit of a fluke. I don't know how these guys did it, but they're here to prove people wrong, right? You know, it wasn't a fluke. These are very good players, top players within their region. And I think they can keep hitting shots like, you know, Dukes was hitting towards the end there. Boy, oh boy, we're going to be in for a treat.
Yeah, it was absolutely an incredible run. Dukes himself just didn't seem like he even knew what he did right there or how it happened, but he should be feeling good after that.
Just like an instant, like instincts take over, snap, headshot, victory out. Just another day in the life of Dukes. Now, a duo, I feel like y'all Danish fans would be excited about Steno and Lucy. Looking to qual here. Yeah, Danish fans. We got Danish fans, BR fans, French fans. We got it all. Collecting them all like Infinity Stones. Fantastic stuff. But these guys right now sitting in 8th place. Talk to me about this duel. Maybe some fans are just tuning in. They've had a kind of a long day. They want to catch up on some Fortnite. Talk to me about it.
Listen, Steno and Lucy started the day off strong, and I'm ready to see them in game number 4.
These guys do what they do. It's typical Danish duo, very consistent, very efficient in their actions, and they're delivering today.
Well, speaking of delivering, it is time. Game number 4 is upon us. So let's kick it on over to the casters to take us in.
Thank you so much, Zeke. Great games we've been having. I'm joined with the great Monster D-Face as well.
Hey, man, listen, when you see us, you know the games are just about here, and it sounds like we're going to be gearing up here shortly. I can't wait, especially after those explosive clutch moments from Dukes, and it sounds like game number 4 is ready. Copenhagen, let's get right back to it. Game number 4 is underway.
This is the moment We saw it yesterday. Big games in Game 4. Outside of the bubble, teams were able to qualify. The same thing happened in Game 5, but now their backs are up against the wall with no choice but to go big or go home.
Go big or go home is the name of the game. We have these bubble teams contesting one another. The Shattered Labs, the story of Snazy and Podesai is only just beginning. They are not quite set yet, but neither is Tahi. Neither is Death, who are just to the north of them, all of which are on that same exact threshold. Here we have Jamon, Moneymaker, Yuma, Venation just nearby. They go for the pickaxe play. It's not going to be enough. Down goes one. Can they get the second now?
Yeah, that's tough. They're in 20th place, Moneymaker and Fanayan, to start this game off. So if they go down here, that's going to really put things in a tough spot. But Yuma and Jamon, they're definitely picking up the pace, especially after that loss off-spawn battle in that last game. They're finally figuring out where he's hiding. And Moneymaker's really just thinking outside of the box. Any nook, any cranny that he can fit in, he's going ahead and trying to hide and trying to keep them on the run, going in and outside of the same covers. But eventually he's going to have to go ahead and run into both of these players unless he can get the launch pad and get out, and that's exactly what he's going to do to stay alive.
Wow. Yuma is going to spot him, though. He puts a couple tags down. Very crucial, but not enough to finish the job. Alba, Yuma, and Jamon, of course, representing for the Asia region. That elimination alone jumps them up 3 or 4 spots, putting them in the upper 30s now. That just shows you how close the cutoff is for top 25. This truly is the story now on the back half. It's the race to the finish line, but for some, they might be gasping out just trying to get there.
This is huge. Another battle off spawn towards Creaky Compound. Fahad and Hero, who's trying to make up for all that lost time early on in the day. Quickly trying to capture Creaky Compound. And there's a strength in numbers, I've been saying all weekend long, but it's here on the flag as well. As long as both of them are standing in it, they're going to get it much faster to try to get that loot as we try to capture everything that's gone down. You see Hero already with 1 elimination, and Skits, that's going to be the second one. And that's a must-have because Skits and his duo were having such a hot streak out of the gates, much better than they performed yesterday.
Absolutely. Crazy to think how many performances have been seen as far as above average from the NA side. So many of the NA teams are literally putting themselves closer and closer towards the finals. I don't think that's been emphasized enough, how well of a performance they've had, and I'm here to champion for them as I'm, of course, been rooting in the background. But Vatch and Pam still, of course, if they make it to Sunday, they will be giving Cammy and Seti an issue there, so we'll see what happens. All these qualifications do matter. Staying in data still, sneaking up.
Taking a page out of Misha and Teeny's playbook, something we haven't really seen anybody else do but them. Instead of hiding in a bush, though, they're ready to pounce. They realize they are separated just enough for their liking as they continuously try to creep in. Fahad's going to try to get away, but the shot strike, more than half of his HP is going to be gone. And that leaves Hero to try to run, cover the distance, get there as fast as possible. And I think this is going to come out into a 2v2 situation with Stain and Datas having the advantage early on.
ME versus Asia right here, right now, but a third party comes in to put their influence into the mix. That was almost a perfectly coordinated attack from our favorites here, Stain and Datas, and now the problem lies in their side. They've been hurt big time here. The compound no longer safe, and there is also a solo in the mix here, making his way south through. Meanwhile, we jump over Wakitos here, setting up the ambush onto Raru.
Trying to go in, nice little sneak shot, but he ain't gonna fall for that bait. Kito's quickly trying to back up, take the high ground back. Jin is right there by his side, but Greedy's trying to chop him down to size. Both of these duos try to reunite one another. Jin, not very many heals left, and instantly it's Kitos who shares. Oh, but the snipe from the side. Wow. They forgot about the top of the mountain. Jin goes down and leaves a lot of pressure on the Kitos to try to clutch up. Raru and Greedy, they're the ones trying to take advantage of it as well.
And the awareness from Raru to understand the snipe comes in and it puts them at a disadvantage. They didn't miss a beat there. They turn things around immediately. Talk about a lucky save for them, as they were on the backside for a moment there.
Oh, what are these just third parties, one after the next?
Oh my gosh.
Greedy gets chopped down to size as well. Raru, has to kind of about face. He can no longer go after Kitos, who has a solo, because he has to reunite with Greedy. He doesn't want to have his game end here very, very early in match 4.
For a second there, it was looking like the warm-up games, like straight W key.
But we got a listen in with Hen, seeing how he's doing in the early portions of this game.
On the right, like towards quickly.
Yeah.
You're killing me there. Come on,
Please be AR. I got AR.
Nice on the right.
Dead. Kiri.
Absolute clean elimination right there. That's the way you want to start your games off, picking off damage. Question is, can he get the finish there in time? Either way, 8 players already eliminated here. That's 3 full duos and some fragmented. Let's take a look here. Zone going far north. Things mixing up here for day 2 so far. We'd like to see some variety.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some northeast. We've seen some southeast. Now we're just going to have a straight north for now. It does have a little bit of a western lean, but it could definitely center up. Figure out where it actually goes later on in the game. But Bully and Shadow changing up things just a little bit. Don't want to go against Peak and Vico far too often, but that's 7-man and Cal Gamer that they're going up against, and they're on a hot streak. They're on a hot streak for sure, climbing up that leaderboard to try to get their spot into Championship Sunday. And all Shadow wanted was a couple of tags thanks to that surge, and now he's going elsewhere.
Oh, Mr. Savage has to be careful here, though, deep in the zone, but he is holding things down. Can he get adapted? He does! Swatted out the sky. Nicely done for him. And FKS now back against the wall, hurt as well. Vidil, one of the best to ever do it. When he sees you hurt, he comes in and closes it. Makes it look easy. Let's see, Savage comes from behind here. Yup, he's boxed up. It's only going to take one more shot. FKS is fighting. He's fighting hard, but for how long can he last?
Yep, quick move by Mr. Savage as well, dodging a lot of those shots.
Okay.
Might have cursed him there, but he goes down nonetheless. Vidil is the one who gets credit. He just took too much damage trying to get that reboot off. He goes down to the storm itself so early on. But that's Vidil and Mr. Savage. This is what they've known best. Even though they wanted uncontested, well, they got it.
Best part about it is they need those points to continue to give them the cushion to go ahead and stay in the money, stay in the save zone. It's nice to be in top 4 now. Should be all he needs. Take a look now at Batman Booga. Rapid, of course, a favorite. NA. Puts in a lot of work here, but Pink on the other side says, hold that thought. We got action, and we have it now. Finds Rapid there. The duo of Batman Booga. Now back against the wall. Just a solo here. We'll have to retreat for the moment as there is a duo lurking above.
I'm waiting for this third party. It's actually Kaizen and Clement who are trying to go ahead and use those berries. So that way they don't have to use too much of their own heals. It is working out. That could be the distraction needed for Batman Booga to try to stay alive. And for Pink and Vico, this is a moment for them to stabilize themselves. They started this game in 32nd place, almost a repeat of yesterday with 2 chances left. They have to lay it all on the line. No regrets, no excuses. The time is now.
That's right. Fresh duos rotating in the surrounding vicinity as well. Clement's going to go on up. They say, hey, look, we got the solo singled out here. I think we can go ahead and take advantage here. If they do just that, could put them in the position to have the surge they need. There it is. They trap him from underneath and force him out the box. Batman Booga expending all the metal now. Backs into a corner. The double shot comes through from Kaizen and Clement, and the synergy here, you have to respect it now. This Elam is worth 4 points. They want to close it out or give it back to Vico, potentially now. And Batman Booga will not give it up without a run for it. Kaizen and Clement secure the deal there and earn themselves 4.
They got to be careful, though. Now it's Pink and Vico territory. A lot of that real estate is going to be owned by them, and they know it. So Clement and Kaizen immediately get out, build some fresh spot for them to go ahead and try to regain composure. And with the zone pulling forward, a lot of these teams are going to have to continue to rotate towards the north side of the map, which means Pink and Vico, they have the advantage. They are full health as well. They have all the heals, so they either could stay, try to camp above Clement and Kaizen, or try to rotate first and hold them out nonetheless.
Pink and Vico do need several more slots to go. You can see they're just holding that 30th placement. That's with the 4 that they earned this game off the elimination. So truly and surely they have to get more elims. More importantly, they have to stay alive as Vico is severely damaged here. It's Clicks and Epic Whale setting up the ambush nearby, and they would love to pick up some of that sweet material, but no, instead going to prioritize the rotate out. It's going to come at a welcome surprise, I think, to Clement or Vico and Pink there. They were definitely damaged.
I will say I do like this change up coming out of both Clicks and Epic Whale. It was in that last game. They were stayed too far in towards Mega City, let all the other teams bypass them. So by the time it was their turn to rotate, they just got held out. They got separated and taken down as Chubbs and Bryce land a monster of a shot. They don't want to continue this fight as solos. Bryce is yet to go ahead and reunite with his teammate. So that's going to be Chubbs just backing up. Bryce, he has his shoulder. I'll watch it. You try to get out. And it's a fight for the forecast tower. So it's definitely something worth the risk if you're ready to gain that reward.
Chubbs and Bryce have had an incredible showing, as have Shalom and MK Papa every single time I've tuned in with this duo here. Today just really has been them finding their stride here amongst some of the greatest. Already at 2 eliminations, a big 8-point game. I'd say this is definitely a team that is jumping onto the radar here now.
That was Pam, Stu, and Fatch that they just took out of this lobby. Pam, Stu, and Fatch have about 48 points, 29th place. The only place they can go from here, though, is down. They leave it up to the last and final game of the day to try to qualify. And from one fight to the next, they run into Pings, who quickly bounce pads out. He doesn't want to have any of that noise. He is a solo, so he's probably looking for a least contested part of this zone to try to go ahead and get his teammate back.
Let's take a look at these elims here that MK Papa and Shalom picked up, because the significance here, they go from top 25 to top 20 here by eliminating Fatch and Pam here on the rotate around the storm line. A very significant pair of eliminations for them here. That could be the difference to their Sunday ride. But now with Fishy and DMK also at 3 elims turning online, they find Epic Whale, and that's a huge punishing blow, forcing them to stop now and heal. We already knew they didn't have many white heals. That's why they were playing the shrooms. So now Epic Whale is truly hurt.
Yeah, this is going to be tough because they don't have the elevation as well. Luckily, though, they are by this Rift Island, so a couple of teams might try to contest it, which leaves an open path somewhere for them to try to find and try to get on track. They started the game in 15th, then they moved up to 10th, but at that last game, they fell all the way down to 22nd place, and the time is definitely ticking for a lot of these teams to claim their spot on that battle bus for the grand finals.
Well, Jacob, let me tell you, the 3 or 4 duos I see nearby all absolutely need this Rift Island, and if you think back to that content piece, this is when it is the most dangerous. You have to be the most cautious going for the Rift Island right here, right now, because you know those 15 points are going to be worth fighting for right now. Datus and Stain recognize that Chubbs is hurt here. They try to go in, but Gab Zero's not missing a shot at all right now. A very, very great job. So far, so good. But remember, Chubbs and Bryce, they're good. They have the ride to Sunday. They're going to do okay.
Just about practice for them. Still on the international stage. Every moment matters. You said it himself. He's nervous. Now it's time for him to shake those nerves, get ready for tomorrow. And you hear the crowd going wild. Bushi and Steno, they got themselves a nice bit of elevation, but just on the corner of the zone. And that's exactly why they're going to try to disengage off that spot, rotate deeper in. And depending on what teams have the forecast tower, they might try to beat them there, but it is across the map from that Rift Island. So you already know around the 4th, the 5th, even 6th zones, it will pull away from Rift Island.
This is incredible. Snazy, Podesai, Clicks, Epic Whale, Stain, Datus. An incredible amount of variety here. Trying to play for the Rift Island. At the most dangerous time to do so as well. This is going to make or break a tournament run right now. Who will secure it?
Even Chubbs and Bryce, they say, I want a piece of this pie. We may have won a game, but we haven't captured Rift Island yet. This could be our chance to continue to add to our lead. And they're ready to fight for it. You see shots coming down from a bottom. There's about 4 teams, maybe even 5 on top of Rift Island. Clicks and Epic Whale, they got pushed off of that flag, no longer able to contest it, but at least they have the position high above the rest. And it looks like they're going to try to fight for some piece control, some real estate, anything that they can get their hands on before they look at the edge of the island for more Storm Surge.
A little too passive, though. They're playing the launch pad and not the actual objective. They do have to be careful. You have FHD and Hero looking right on down, slowly maneuvering their way inside. Clix and Epic now second-guessing the decision to be here. Eliminations could be very well worth it, but securing a point seems unlikely at this point, as Chubbs and Bryce are like, hey, we would love to be #1 for the day. Why not put the risk on the line here? Why not risk it all?
Literally have nothing to lose this situation. This is exactly what I thought Clix and Epic were going to do. They have just the edge of the zone to continue contesting it, and now they're looking on down below to try to get that Storm Surge, but you can see their awareness. They're constantly looking around. You saw Basket go down early on. Vielen and Kitos ready to finish off this duo, send them back to the lobby and try to jump up that leaderboard. That is a huge amount of confidence ready to be built.
Almost Kito and PH Zin, well played. Big set of eliminations. Put them in a good spot. Here's Clement, Kaizen on the move. We already saw the very tough spot they were put in when faced off against Pink and Vico, trying to secure the elimination on Batman Booga. It cost them a lot of material, and now they're pretty much a foot behind. Meanwhile, Pink, Vico coming back here. They drop Miro, take down Cooper shortly after. Look at that. Already done in wraps, and Pink and Vico absolutely needed that one. Huge, huge pickup right there. And for Cooper and Miro, who are inside the top 10, I think they'll be all right, but they'll surely slip down coming into the last and final game here.
It's definitely going to put them on the edge of their seat, and you can see what they're fighting for. Not only the 2 eliminations, which is H points, it's that weapons cache as well to try to bolster their loadout as much as possible. The main thing is going to be those slurp juices to try to keep them alive. They don't want to wait to the last game to make their qualification possible. Way and Frosty, they're stuck on the edge of zone, just outside as well. They got a couple of feet to cover before they find some safety with inside. But even then, once they get in towards zone, their journey doesn't stop there. The zone continues to pull towards the far north side of the map.
The majority of the players are down here as well. Big congestion happening here. It's going to be a very, very difficult rotate for the bulk. See what happens here. But back to the Rift Island, back to the most contested island. The island where all of the teams on the bubble lie. Mr. Savage has 2 elims. Guess what? One of them is Bryce. Can they get Chubbs here? Can they find their 4th elimination right now? Badil already working his way in. Looking good. Chubbs goes down, but it's not to them. It's to the hands of FHD and Hero here, a team that equally needed those elims. They needed those points, but who secures the loot?
Yeah, I heard it get captured there at the tail end, but I don't know who actually got credit for the capture. We see the loot falling through. Badil and Mr. Savage trying to steal as much of it as possible. Might have been Fahad and Hero who grabbed that one. Clix and Epic Well, long gone off of Rift Island. You saw them cover up that bounce pad, and now they're trying to use it. Suns and Anon trying to make something of their last opportunities here on the day. They saw Alex and Worthy qualify out of OCE, and they don't want to leave them as the lone team in the grand finals representing their region. Nice opportunity here to pick up more points. He's going to slip on through. That's Chris on the other side. Suns not only needs the points, but he needs the refresh. He needs that loot that he has in his hands, and Anon, him, can't stay too much longer in this zone before they go down.
Also recognizing the additional damage turning on here. Look at how quickly they're falling underneath the Storm Surge. Storm Surge will, of course, turn on just about 10 seconds. Start dealing tons of damage to the lobby. Huge tag right there, though. That might be a game changer. No, it's only worth 100. Into the zone they go. Here it is. Let's see what they can do.
Hero's right next to him. At least Suns made it in, giving him a shot. The Storm Surge taking him down. One more tick before he goes back to the lobby.
Wow.
He's doing what he can. 40 below, and he barely goes above by 81. The risk versus the reward. At least he stays alive.
That was actually so impressive. Swings through, finds a tag, and slips out before the surge can actually hit him. He was just a moment away from hanging out in the lobby for a second there. But trouble still looming. Trouble still on the horizon here. Pink and Vico don't stop, though. They are looking to make the dreams and wishes of their communities come true as they're coming right back to it. Let's relive the moment. Let's recapture that. Vico walks in. takes down the 2 from the side. He gets both elimination credit there, and look at that. Feeling very good about it.
I mean, Pink said it himself. What do diamonds make? Well, it's actually diamonds are made from pressure, and he's feeling that pressure now in the moment, using it to fuel himself. I think this might be one of the best games they've had all weekend long. And Monster, at this stage in the game, there are more teams alive outside of that top 25 bubble than teams that are inside. So they're trying to take these last 2 games of opportunity and really push themselves to the limit.
Really changing the narrative right now. Pink and Vico are in 28th now. Right there, really trying to change this whole story around. Half the lobby has just about been eliminated, including some of our favorites, like you said, up inside the top 10. Most of those teams are down and out, so this is really going to allow the funnel of points to flow south to the bottom of the standings, which is going to make the final game that much more tougher to break through into the top 25. You know, it's a very different game when even those that were at the bottom are now starting to pick it up. Yep. It only takes 2 games, 2 good games.
So recipe for excitement. Players are cooking up a final opportunity here. 27 players left alive of 27 teams, so that means no placement points have been granted so far. And it's really up until that top 10. Half the points are outside of the top 10. Majority of those points are inside of the top 10. So for some of these teams, just getting these placement points isn't going to be enough. They're going to need top 10 performances, maybe even back-to-back top 10s if they're looking to continue their journey on towards Sunday. Kaizen barely above the damage threshold by 66, but he knows not to make the wrong move, especially this late in the game with so many other teams surrounding.
This is it. This is his chance. This is his moment. If he can take off here, if he can make a big end game, a top 10 potentially, it might just be all he needs. But first, though, he's got to survive here. He's barely up. He might just be able to find Deguerra here. Great tag there, and he does take him down, and now Rocket rams his way on, up, and out. Can he get all the way to the top? Close enough. Wow. Perfectly there. It was nearly over, but even finds the zip line to get all the way on inside. There goes the elimination credit. Alive long enough to find it. Meanwhile, Reason also finding eliminations too. I know we got to interview with our good friend Amar. It seems like all of his hopes and dreams are coming true for the German community out there.
Talk about the Brazil community. King and Phaser finally have some sense of high ground. Saw them far low on the leaderboard with 2 opportunities left. This could be their chance to boost up the leaderboard. Even if they don't get inside of the bubble, as long as they get close, they're keeping the hope alive for their entire region. But just like Perza here all by himself, 5 eliminations so far, 6 as a team, 34 points with a couple of those being placement. He's just waiting for the last possible moment to try to go ahead and rotate. He does have the front side of the zone, so there's going to be a lot of players passing by he could try to get an elimination on, because with 7 builds, he might need one.
This one, he's going to have to pick his poison, go for elims, go for the loot, or play for extra. Let's see what he decides to do here. Still trying to make that decision. Not looking to get greedy, though. Instead, he's going to focus on positioning here coming shortly. This is the last charge in his rocket ram. Meanwhile, Kaizen flying all the way to the front side of zone, puts himself in an excellent spot here. He just sees so many chances to find tags.
Just biding his time, trying to play the smart game, even though he's below the damage threshold. He's not trying to make that leap all in one bound, even finds some minis along the way, gets above the damage threshold before it goes away altogether. Top 30 player situation. He's going to be one of them, trying to put the team on his shoulders, but King and Phaser still find a way to hold on to that high ground. Put so much damage on Yanis, who tried to contest him up there, sends him back down low into the mud.
What a game for Shalom and Papa here. Also ranking their way all the way up right now. Getting very close, getting very comfortable, but Shalom falls is all up to MK Papa here. Has to put the teammate on his back quite literally. They decide, hey, you don't have to save me. I'm going to try to stay up right here. Clicks is going to fall. Epic Whale has to do it by himself in the end game. He has no build. Shots come from everywhere. Down he goes to his NA friends. TK there. And now, Snazy, pulled aside, another end game for them. This is their moment. This is their chance to do it all.
I know everybody at home can hear the crowd through our mics cheering loud and proud. We already seen Podesai get a massive amount of points as a solo. This time, yes, his dynamic duo trying to go ahead and lead the charge into the qualification spot along with Pink and Vico. They've been doing so much damage all around the lobby all game long, and they don't intend to stop here, especially with 7 eliminations. They already got themselves into the top 10. Now they're trying to grab their last half of those points.
And only one build left. He comes all the way down to low ground. They'll be alive for a little bit longer, but 4 duos remain. One's a single solo in the mix here. In this entire game, Shadow from the shadows, the back of the leaderboards, all the way on up, here to play Epset. He makes the end game. This is going to surely put him in a true chance for the bubble spot. Down he goes to the hands of Pink and Vico. Pink and Vico have rocketed their way up. It's going to be such a contentious final round. But first, who will win this one? Who will secure that dub here? Podesai will surely get eaten alive by the storm. And he fails to build there. It's unfortunate here. Comes in through the side. Down he goes. And it's now a 2v2.
That's gone, and Pingu at the bottom. Fall damage is real onto Vico, but he gets the trade at the bare minimum. And Pink and Vico take the game. That could have been it, Monster. That could have been the moment where they qualify to the grand final on Sunday. They're knocking on the door of Acorn and Cold. So I'm going to throw it on over to the stage where we have Frankie standing by to pick their brains.
I think that might have been the most important victory royale we've seen so far. Boys, I think you were 30th on the leaderboard going to that one. And you, Vico, had the game of your life. How on earth did you manage to get so many eliminations?
It's because Pink's just the go-to torping and everything else. He fully clutched mid-game, I'm not gonna lie.
You did clutch. Talk me through what happened.
I had 7 kills, Vico had 4.
Oh, this is what I've just been told by the producer in my ear. I am sorry. Justice for Pink, everybody. I apologize. I mean, 4 elims is pretty impressive. All right, then. Pink, what was your favorite elimination of the 7?
Killing Mero and Cooper, because we had nothing, and I just killed both of them, and it just revived the game. I don't know, bro. God, it's the greatest, bro. My mum's life. Oh, my God.
How did you manage to get yourself together to get those 2 eliminations, though? Because you were on the back foot.
I mean, a duo like me and Vico, like, we don't need loot. Like, we have the fragging capabilities over the course of the last 2 days. We haven't been able to show it. But I just told Vico, just keep a positive mindset. Like, no matter what throughout the game, don't give up. We'll get them kills. Like, we're good enough. We got them kills. We came back and we won the game. I can't lie. I knew that we would qual. I just had to put the belief into Vico.
Why do you think it did take you so long to put up the performance we know you were capable of?
We were struggling with Surge a bit, and we kind of choked some mid-games, but we got it now. I figured it out, and yeah, it's going to go better now.
I did speak to Pink yesterday about how you became this unlikely double act and how he's taught you a few things in game. Why don't you tell me what you've learned since joining this man?
I've learned how to use my brain, actually, and not just like use my capabilities of being able to fight and my mechanics. So I'm actually thinking more now, and I'm capable of using my brain cells. So
I'm glad you've learned to use your brain cells. I've got to head back to the desk, but before we do, I know your mum is in the audience. She's always by your side. Have you got any words for her?
Thank you for always supporting me, and thank you for being the best mom in the world.
Well, hopefully that is enough to get you into tomorrow's grand final, because I don't know how you beat a performance like that. Everybody give it up for Pink and Vico!
Let's go! As they stated, they've been trying to put up this performance for 2 days, and now what a better time to do it than on the penultimate game. Double-digit eliminations, Pink and Vico. Let's go, boys! And this is all off the back of Vico's recent win, right? Getting the Red Bull contested overall win. Now, I mean, I don't even know what to say. 11, what do I say here?
It's just spectacular from these two. The game sort of started, and they were lingering around that 40-point mark, and I was looking at them and I was going, I don't know how these guys are going to pull right now. It's not looking good at all. I was getting really worried. Then all throughout the game, Kenny, I just keep seeing their names in the feed, right? You know, Pink throughout the mid-game, seeing his name in the feed. I'm thinking, I know what's happening here. I know exactly. I've seen it so many times from Pink in particular, even with previous duels, but obviously Pink and Vico, where He needs a clutch game, and he's like, let's just key, let's W key, let's just go in, and they can do it. They have that fragging ability.
Honestly, Pink is so excited right there, but I think Levin was even more excited. It was great watching that game with him. And I know that you and him talked about the mid game, but honestly, it started from the early game there with Pink and Vico going up against Batman, Bugha, and Rapid. They were able to take one down, but then played it safe. They didn't go on the aggression, which worked out really well for them because then there was a third party that came in and did clean up Batman, Bugha. But then, of course, we saw the eliminations that they got in the mid game, and then in the end game there, they played the mid ground really well, waited for it to be around 7 teams left, and then that's when they went for the high ground.
I think Pink finally knows what pressure makes. It's diamonds, right? And these guys are diamonds, and they've been shining in that game. I mean, the pressure on them. You mentioned, right, obviously, you know, winning Red Bull contested for Vico, what moment that was for him. Obviously, Pink last year won Gamers 8, right? So, like, these are two players, a rare example of two players on the same team who have won lands before they had that experience in the stage. And I just really wanted to see them actually then be able to deliver. So to see them do it now is really satisfying.
And I mean, the whole arena just erupted right in that moment. I gotta relive it, but this time, let's do it with a listen in.
50, 30, 1 HP, 150 on him. The gingerbread. My wall. Conan. My wall. Cracked him. Go. Get body. Just play for body, play for body. Get it. So pop big. Give me mats and I'll lead. It might be a solo on height, by the way. We have height. Okay. I think so. Yeah, we have height. Spray. Pop big, I'll spray. I've zero build.
Take my scraps.
Go
right now.
They're
Top
fine.
three, top two.
What, 2v2, we should drop down and get side pump. Drop down.
50 wide. Let's go!
The passion, honestly, you won't see passion like that anywhere else. And it's just such a testament to how much Vico has improved, because if you've watched Vico for a while, right? The old Vico before he started playing the Pink, at some point during that end game, would have just lost his head and just gone and tried to W key someone he shouldn't, overextended, completely lost the game, right? The new Vico, right? He knows when to pick his spots and he takes them perfectly.
And look at that right there, moving up 26 placements to now be in 7th place. That showcases that even though they may have had a rough 3 games, by grabbing a double-digit elimination victory royale, that gets you over 100 points, Z.
That's right, and I talked about it right before. 91 was the threshold yesterday, right? All you need to do is have one amazing game and your duo could fall or jump up from outside that top or bottom 25 rather. For Pink and Vico, what a moment. But now we have to start thinking about this is it. We're getting ready to go into the final game on the day. The bottom 25 will be going home. As we turn attention to the bubble, take a look. Frosty, KZ, and Way sitting on 84 points currently. And just start to look out at these names. In 30th place, Moneymaker and Fanyan. Anytime we've seen these guys on a screen, this arena has gone wild.
Oh yeah, and deservedly so. What an incredible duo right here. And all they need is just a few more points. With this being the final game of the lower bracket, I don't think that they're going to be doing anything too crazy. I think they're just going to be going with what they know best.
The pressure truly is on right now. I wouldn't want to be them. I love, you know, high stakes moments, but I love to watch them. These guys are in it. It's going to be tough.
I'm getting word. This is it. As much as I want to break down more, we are ready for the final game of the lower bracket. So Marina makes some noise as we go up to the casters.
This is the final countdown. It's almost like these are gladiators in the arena right now, putting on a show for us and everybody at home.
Yeah, that's right. And that last game really has crunched the standings here. It's going to be so difficult now to make it into the top 25. Here we go.
This is it. The very last chance for any one of these teams to try to make it to Sunday and keep their dreams alive. They got the Axe of Champions up for grabs, the lion's share of $4 million. And I think just as important for these competitors, calling themselves the best in the world when it comes to Fortnite.
That is absolutely correct. The standings the minimal points required will probably be much higher than 91, because if you compare the top points from yesterday to today, it is so much more closer. That threshold is much, much tighter. This is by far a much more difficult qualifier round to get out of. But first, Yuma, Jama, Moneymaker comes in. Looking sharp as ever here. Gets the first tag, but his teammate is also hurt. Swings around. Can he go ahead and put it all together here?
This is a big battle for both of these teams, because this decides if they have even a chance to keep themselves alive, and they immediately get a disengage from Jama and Yuma. Moneymaker's just hot on the heels, though. He may not know exactly where he's at, but by going this route, he knows now he has to be in that direction. He spots him out at the tail end on top of the roof. Shots are be fired. Jamon taking a lot of that damage. Fanayan there to finish the job. They keep it alive, Monster.
What a well-played elimination right there. Comes in, finishes the job. Nice and easy this time. The shoes on the other foot. They are here to change the narrative, change the story, and they have an actual chance. Well, we already know. You can be all the way at the back. One win can potentially take you to the top.
Yep, and with some of these teams already have their ticket on that battle bus ready. We've seen some reckless play to try to defend their drop spot, but a nice shot from Anon and Sons to deal a load of damage on their opponents. All about how you capitalize on this opportunity now. And you can see the crouch coming out from Anon. He's trying to hide exactly which direction he's going to come from, but FKS doing the same exact thing, trying to peek through one of these windows, and he has a gold sharp tooth. He could definitely one-pump either one of these players.
I'm sorry to say it, but FKS and Adapter just really representing as far as their drop has been better. They have really, really out-dropped Suns and Anon every single round that we've seen here for the most part. This is the first time those Suns and Anon have found a very good and promising loadout here at the Temple.
The positions have switched. Usually it's Suns and Anon playing from the low ground, which hasn't really worked out for them. Now we have the side angle and a lot of damage onto Adapter. He's trying to follow it up with Combat SMG, trying to get him to expend as many of those resources as possible to make the fight that much easier. A little peekaboo shot from Adapt. FKS trying to clean that one up as well, but they just get pushed right back into the same box. Shields are going to get dropped. One's going to go down. Adapter trying to hang on his final lifeline, but Suns with another angle. They win the most important battle of their day so far.
What an incredible win right there, and all of a sudden now, that could be the run. Dreams shattered. Hopes being made at the same time.
Not too many contested fights actually go down over here towards Brutal Bastion, even though it is contested. A little bit of a north and a south split between the two teams, which kind of maybe explains why they might be lacking a little bit when it comes to Storm Surge versus other contested teams here in the game, but they don't know exactly where their opponents are at. Bowles has the loadout that he wants. He wants to go ahead and pick up that big pot. Side sets the sniper. Cheatin' and Pixie are so far away, and they have that elevation, so it's not going to be an easy find to take advantage of. While Phaser, he found something. Tries to go for a quick couple of early shots. Snazy immediately builds up, takes that elevation away from Phaser. King is a little bit too far away, so if they're able to pounce rather quickly, that'll be two separate 2v1s. But it does look like Podesai is going to go for a disengage momentarily, which allows Phaser to kind of stabilize, reclaim his position, and reunite with King.
Very, very important set of engagements in front of King and Phaser here if they want to make it to top 25. Ping, Kyrie need to do the same here, and the Eclipse state is starting to get a little expensive. A lot of teams nearby. Meanwhile, Edgy falls there. Fights happening here. All in the last game. Pink and Vico taking that heated streak here directly into the next game. Already in a battle. Already trying to turn online here, you know. Feeling pretty good. It's up against Shalom. Shalom made an endgame there as well. That was a big, big turn of events for him.
See Pink and Vico right now that they've more than likely punched their ticket to the finals, playing a little bit more loose, a little bit more reckless, trying to repeat the fragging ability that they had in that last game, going a different direction than some of the other games that we've seen so far. Third party coming in, making NK Papa's job that much harder as Vico continues to go ahead and push them in, take away a lot of their territory. Pink is on the other side, but he needs to be careful because he's running out of resources to work with. But it does look like it is going their way continuously.
One false move and it could be all over for Shalom here. He has to hit this shot, but he's missing it. Vico finds his first, and down goes MK Papa first. Shalom now solo, but there is a duo starting to fire in. That might be the saving grace here, as they did not get the full finish with Shalom back against the wall here. Vico continuing to push in. He's heated up. It's looking good, but these are not his walls. Hurt now from the third party. Back down to the low ground. Vico and Pink back up. It's cost them so much. Heals, material, and everything in between. We know they're top 25. But at the cost of Shalom's game potentially here now.
The mini-map is showing that the third party is getting fourth partied, making sure everybody has an invitation to the celebration, and that allows Pink and Vico a little bit more flexibility to continue the 2v1 onslaught, and they finish the fight. They send him back to the lobby and end the run for Shalom.
Shalom and MK Papa were right on the 13th spot. But if you just took away 10 points, it would be on the bubble, on the line inside the top 20. So we'll see if it can hold up now. They'll have to hold their breaths until the next game. If we saw a repeat of last game, it's going to be tough.
No, it definitely is, especially now that they have to sit and watch. Only place on the leaderboard they can go is down, but at least they've secured their spot thus far. Source taking a little bit of damage. Taking a few seconds to try to heal up here over towards Steamy Springs. You see Bully and Shadow in their line of sight. Just Shadow, actually. So this kid give Bully a chance to try to alleviate some of the pressure or just continue to rotate as Skits and Sorif do go down to Duke and Edgy. Duke got to be feeling himself after that huge 2v1 against his NA counterparts. And just got to ask if he has the reboot card, because it's a chance to get Edgy back into the game, as it does look like he's going towards the edge of the zone where you'd think some, or at least the least amount of players are at.
Duke, by far, the play of the weekend. That clutch, incredible, coming out of game 3, securing them inside the top 10 so far. Now, the team that probably needs the crowd's energy the most, Epic Whale and Clicks are on 24th position. And we want to emphasize, to get out of the lower bracket, you have to get to 25th position or better. They are just on that line. One mistake, and it is over.
You just have to figure out a way to dig deep, get that energy. River and Gazer going up against another duo here. Rapid, Q, and DX. Shots also coming in from around the map, making it that much harder to try to take this one in a convincing manner. But the piece control goes on over, but a great shot by Rapid to go ahead and get a knock onto one. Quickly going to clean that one up for the Siphon. Getting that refresh on the maps as well. You can see he's max. QNDX ready to continue putting down the pressure, advancing forward every chance that he gets, trying to cut him off. River's going to be by himself. A little bit of a miracle is going to be needed, but he's quickly keeping them on the run, going up elevation. Definitely one box at a time, trying to tear down the walls of his opponent, give himself some real estate to work with, trying to stabilize his position. And momentarily, he's going to do just that. And another shot being fired onto Rapid, so the bait and switch is going to come in, and they played that one to perfection to take down River.
Let's go. Well played for Middle East right there. Meanwhile, Tahi has to clutch up for death. This is it. They're working together right now. They find De Guerra there on the rotate. Very nicely set here for the rest of the game now. They can pick up these materials. They can pick up the extra finds here. Get right to the zone. Plenty of time to work with as well. This will put them well within the surge comfort for now.
Saw Kaizen go down in the feed. Clement was also out, but they've positioned themselves on the leaderboard in 15th place. Got to be confident that it is going to hold, but only time will tell as Anon goes down to the deal. Suns as well, so another duo's run here this weekend comes to an end, while another one is shining bright.
Love to root for death. Young kid from the Bronx alongside Tahi, but jumping over to Okis, who's trying to put up the solo clutch here. For a moment there, he had a bit more on the standings, but now pressured in by Kitos and PH-Sin. They're working the pincer maneuver here. One wall and two, and Okis now runs, trying to stay up. The early med kit here, they don't want to risk anything, making sure that they put themselves in the most optimal position to win this fight here. You have to respect every pro player that has made it this far in the stage. The best of the best globally here gathered for the weekend's tournament. There is no easy set of eliminations, but Okis is gonna fall here now to the hands of PH-Sin. And just like that, the Brazilian boys gain another. Well played.
Trying to continue where they left off yesterday and go up that leaderboard. FHD and Hero those look like they got a little bit of a slower rotation compared to most in this game. Almost uncontested towards the north side of the map, and that's where they're putting their money on to see if it is going to go in this direction. But the only question I really have, Monster, is how much surge do they have? Because if you're going on the slow side, you're not going to have very many opportunities to pick that one up. And even though they have a good amount of wood, full brick, right now they're just trying to get as much metal as possible because they know how useful it is in that end game.
Meanwhile, we get to watch this back one more time. Tahi and Death, how they managed to find their eliminations right off the rocket ramp to set up the angle. Tahi, who came back from an extended break, joins back up with Death in the final last chance qualifier, pushes his way through, and then secures himself the ticket, the ride here to wonderful Copenhagen. And now this is his last chances, his last efforts at play here in game number 5, where they absolutely have to come inside the top 10 if they want a shot. So does Clix and Epic Whale. They just need to play just well enough, just good enough, better than the upper half of the lobby.
Yeah, that's basically two different sides of the coin. Death and Tahi need a VR if they're looking to qualify, or a massive amount of eliminations. You said it yourself, Clix and Epic Whale need to do just enough to go ahead and punch their own ticket there. Stacey and Podesai at this stage in the game, I feel like they did more than enough to find themselves confident to go ahead and play yet another day of Fortnite tomorrow, and a chance to win $1 million as a team. And each placing below that is no slouch either. There's a massive amount of money up for grabs, $4 million to be exact. 7-man is trying to put the team on his back here by himself. You see he has the vault loot, and he's in 27th place.
Epic Mailware just found something there, but 7-man has the tournament run on his back. Snazy not to the hands of Epic Whale, but saved, picked up here. Now starting to run out of heals. They don't have much time. They have to get to the zone now. It's all or nothing, and there it is. Luckily, they were super close. It ends up working out. But Clix and Epic Whale are inside the storm. They're inside the mega city, just coming out a bit late there. So danger lurking everywhere nearby. If 7-man makes it to the finals and King makes it to the finals, we'll see that contestant again. Grand final's gonna be so crazy. The new teams are joining in.
Yeah, the storylines are literally writing themselves right before our very eyes. You see Vortex and Belusi go ahead and capture Rift Island, and that is going to be a must for them. They are right now positioned in 46th place. So not only do they need that Rift Island, they need to continue strong in the rest of this game, pick up a huge VR for the placement points. That even feel like their job won't be done there. They need to sprinkle in a couple of those eliminations as well, but anything is possible. We've already seen it yesterday.
Caught a glimpse of Peterbot there as well. Big strides for Peterbot and Viola in the last half here. And they keep up the pace, but first, YKZ have to do a lot more. See what Frosty's can do. Frosty's got lots to work with here, but the pressure is on as he is on that line. He is the protector of the 25th line, if you will. He's got Raru just next door, Death and Tahi. All teams that would love to go ahead and find these eliminations.
Have to have a little bit of that goal line defense. Not let anybody squeak past them. And that could be a different type of pressure itself, knowing you are in 25th place. Anything can happen. Peterbot and Byla have shown that as well. To qualify to this stage, the different weeks of qualifiers and the grand finals. They fell short with different teammates, but they went ahead and remembered the recipe for success. When they were teammates, they got a first-place finish in FNCS Championship. The following season, they got a 6th-place finish as well. So they realized what works. And I feel like they're trying to put that to the test here.
This is a duo that was highly regarded on NA to be an elite force, undoubtedly. Now they're joining forces here again today. I got to touch base with Peterbot, and he had a lot to say. His on-camera demeanor doesn't quite show it, but the kid's got a lot of heart and spirit. So far, he is holding that line as well in 21st. King and Phaser, man, they have a huge task in front of them. They need an end game. They need a big, big moment here. So does 7-Man. 7-Man is by himself. That is also his biggest problem here, is that if he makes it and 7-Man makes it, they will be contesting one another. That's the reason they're here today, a very difficult upper bracket.
Yeah, it just really goes to show how much all of these players are tested, not only throughout the weekend, the day, and in this game. Decent amount of the lobby. Let's just say the bottom half of the leaderboard. Some of them are in a big situation with their backs up against the wall. Cooper goes down to 7-Man. Can he clean up that elimination? That's the question we're going to be asking ourselves. And I feel like I've seen Pink and Vico positioned next to Bully and Shadow almost all game long, all day long as well. They're trying to aggress onto him instead of going away.
This is crazy.
Into the box, but he falls too far down. That leaves Bully by himself on the high ground.
The wild part about it is Shadow has that, like, all that potential to really finish the job. We've seen him come back with late tournament strides and key his way through teams. That is where he plays best. But unfortunately, he's caught out trying to go against the fired up Vico and Pink. They're just, you know, in the zone, in the stride right now. And it's truly showing. And they'll find themselves this elimination. This will surely secure the deal now. It's over, it's done. Bully has to put the rest of the tournament on for himself here. You know, they have to at least be proud that they went from being one of the teams placed last up into the 30 spots.
Yeah.
Can he push a little further? Solo is going to be a crazy task. He's going to have to dig deep to perform that.
You see a lot of the teams that were on top of Rift Island or around it, they get that far pull towards the south side of the map. Cooper and Miro actually do both go down. 7-Man's going to clean up both of them. Bully falls as well. Batman Booga trying to hold on to his position. And then we got Snazy and Podesai over on the other side. It does look like they're on the hunt. They have at least one player around him. It does look like he might be a solo. And I wonder if that's 7-Man who's already been heating up. Well, quickly answered.
7-Man is playing so well. Those are 8 points. Those are 8 points. He was at 26. That's going to jump him up. He was 190 damage below. He already found the knock. He finds up Miro afterwards and crushes them at the same time.
Look at his loadout. He doesn't even need any variation of the shotgun either. He goes in for that mythic stinger over towards Relentless Retreat. I questioned it. I questioned it yesterday, and my answer is here today. You can see why he's doing such things, but he's still below the damage threshold, continuously falling. He needs to figure out what he's going to do, and right now he's just trying to pressure a team across the map. Hope some of those shots sneak through. But he has a couple players on the backside. Hannon Vasquez, Bryce as well. And this could be his opportunity as he looks back to try to get that surge.
Well, one thing's for certain, this is the best performance we've seen come out the Middle Eastern region as a whole at any in-person event. They have just continued to get better and better, and 7-Man is truly showing us why they are champions of their region. Although CalGamer is down right now, but he's got to do it again. He needs more surge. 2 eliminations was not enough. Next up might just be Bryson Chubbs, but first, he's got to pick his poison. He's got to move here now, and he's got to move soon. He's one of the last persons here on the backside of the zone.
Yeah, it does look like he's going to attempt to out-heal it, wait for those opportunities for these players to try to go ahead and continue moving towards the zone. That's going to be his best chance to try to strike. He's trying to contain the Storm Surge, but he's still 100 down, 133, continuously falling. A lot of his heals are going to be expended in this situation. But what choice does he have? He's a solo in a world of duos.
Yeah, and that damage that shows just slowly slipping away, getting further and further, looking for any of that leftover loot. He knew that he had something here. There was stuff to spare. Has to pop the slurp juice, take the double. I was going to say the double movement potentially, but no. Needs the shotgun. He's got to do something monumental now. Will it be a solo? Will it be a duo he lands on? Let's find out. He finds a team rotating here. It's Belushi and more, but then into the box, and he almost does it. It was so close. He finds Q&D, but Rapid was there to seal the deal, zip him up, and unfortunately, that's it. That's Rap. So what a performance. You have to be so proud you made it that far.
Yeah, just outside of that bubble in 26 is where he went down. And he's doing it with an unorthodox play style, not really carrying a shotgun until that final moment.
Oh no, this is everything.
Well, 139 below though. They realize the situation that they're in. Even though they might want to back off, they have no choice but to go forward. That's PH Zen and Keto's on the other side. And this is where they're just trying to back down. They're doing just enough, one foot in front of the other. But if they continue to wait for too long, Storm Surge will activate, and they don't have many heals between the two.
This is so scary because PHN has been on fire, but he doesn't have shields. Clix has to do it. He has to do it here and now, and he does. Puts up the numbers. Well played, but it's not enough. He's still 5 below. He's going to have to heal here and find a tag. Can he get it? But no. Shot from above. It's Hen who plays upset. Pam's through here. If he doesn't find a tag, it's all over. Epic gets it in the nick of time and enough time to potentially save his duo. Oh my gosh. But Clix is dropping everything. He's saying, hey, you have to stay alive. Play for yourself. Do it here and now.
Yep. This is the final moments. We've seen Epic Whale clutch out before in the past, but that's exactly it. He doesn't have any heals to work with. Neither did Clix on his down body, so it's all up from here. But unfortunate, he's just trying to go ahead and use those bounce pads. Every tool he has in his tool belt to try to get there, and maybe even try to sneak attack one of these teams that might know he's there. Perfect rotation coming out from Epic, not really getting tagged up. This is his chance. He's barely on that line. He's barely on the threshold trying to stay alive.
Stay alive a little bit longer and you can get the placement points. That is truly what he needs to do. He's in 27th. Once he breaks past 25th, every team that falls will be a difference maker. It's all or nothing right now. He is only 91 above, just barely there, but the chance, the opportunity, the hope is still alive. So is Death, another solo who needs to stay up. One more team will be it. Phaser's already down. That means King is on his final leg too. King falls as well. And they are down and out. Epic Whale is now on that absolute line here.
Wow, he pulled zone as well.
Oh my gosh.
Talk about a blessing in disguise, a miracle even. That's going to allow him to let some of these teams go ahead, go over his box, under his box, and this could be the perfect moment to catch somebody off guard, but he has to be careful because a lot of these teams surrounding him are going to be full-on duos. You can even see Batman, Booga, and Rapid there. There might be one player towards the bottom that he could try to take advantage of, but it doesn't look like he's going to peek in that direction. He's just biding his time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike.
2 points already given to him. 2 more points now.
No.
Top 23, but the surge updates as teams start to fall here. He's the final line. He is the one below. To his left, to his right, players everywhere, but the zone is behind him. And now, off he goes, 200 builds in front of him, showing you guys why he is a 6X FNCS champion. Can he clutch up? Surely he can. There's a player there. He sees the builds come out. It's fresh wood. Can he break it? No. Decides to go for it. 18 seconds now before the zone starts to close and move in. Players jumping everywhere. Zone's on his tail side. Crash pads in front of him. He takes one. Left exposed. He's nervous. Tensions are high here.
Time is definitely ticking. Only a few seconds left before Storm Surge activates. This is going to be the moment right here. It's all or nothing for Epic Whale trying to stay alive. 293 below the threshold. He's trying to move forward. He sees a couple players in front of him. The damage is there. He's trying to do just enough. Playing a game of peekaboo, but he's still below the damage threshold.
One tag, but no! Bila finds him! But did he do enough? Did he get to top 20 or not is the question. It's going to be so very close. How many points did he earn? Back into the game, though. The line is there. Peterbot is firing his way up to the top, and he's still going. Finishing the job that Epic left off. A clean finish there onto Rapid.
He's hoping and praying that every one of these teams are below him are getting eliminated by people who already have their spot secured, just like Peterbot and Bila. They're inside of that top 25. They're trying to push themselves even further, and he's hoping that it's them who take down some of these players. Moneymaker, Fnayan are going to be right below Bila. That's one of the teams that needed a big game here on the day. High ground's going to be stolen away from TK and Quanti. One of them's going to go down. The crash landing comes through, but Peterbot just dunks him out of the lobby.
Peterbot turning online now, but he loses Bila in the process now by himself. Peterbot has definitely done enough to get to Sunday finals. At this rate, it has to be. But Groles on the low ground here for Clownski has to put up the numbers. This is incredible. If he does enough, he can actually push players out of their top 25. This is one of the few players that needs a little bit more. Vidil's in front of Peterbot. There's still a few top teams in the running here.
Yeah, there's only just a couple of
Congratulations, Vidil. I know you feel a bit on a high right now, but can you put this moment into words for me?
I don't know. It's just funny. I don't know. I just solo win. I don't know. Like, I don't know what the other people doing, but I guess it's worked. It worked, yeah.
You were winning. That's what you were doing. Savage, what was it like watching this man solo clutch?
I mean, I'm speechless. Like, this guy has to be the best player in the world after what I've just seen. Like, I just can't believe my own eyes.
There was a reason that you wanted to duo with him, but did you imagine this moment when you first reached out and said, let's duo?
I had no idea what I was getting into, but this kid... Oh, sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. We'll allow it this once. I want to come to you, Vidil. This is your 8th LAN, I believe, so you've got plenty of experience under your belt, but you have never lifted a trophy before. Can you imagine yourself now at the front of this stage lifting that trophy?
Yeah, of course, yeah. Easy.
And what does it look like to you? What was that feeling in your brain when you think about lifting that trophy?
Well, I don't know. Like, I would be so happy and like so proud of myself. And then, yeah.
And I want to come to you one last time, Mr. Savage, because there have been people in Copenhagen cheering for you all day. What would it be like to hear their voices tomorrow?
I mean, if we could do this tomorrow, that would be, that would be crazy. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back to the practice room now, focus on the day tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes.
All right, we'll let you get back to it. Copenhagen, please, one more time, Mr. Savage and Vidil!
I mean, come on! How else do we want to close this lower bracket? From first place in the last chance major to first place in the lower bracket. This is a story in the making. Congratulations, Mr. Savage and Vidil. I know y'all heard the crowd erupt here in the Royal Arena. My gosh. To come down as well to a solo fight.
I mean, the thing is, though, is that time and time again, these guys have seen themselves in a solo situation. In game number 1, it was Mr. Savage. In game number 3, it was Vidil. But look at Vidil right here with so many eliminations already. And then going into a 5-1v1. He was prepped. He was ready. These guys have already shown they can do it. And then they did it once more.
So locked in, so focused, so ready for everything put in front of him. Again, you mentioned it, right? All throughout the year, we constantly talk about these guys in solo situations. And this is what they do. They deliver. They have these big clutch moments. They like to leave it late, clearly, right? You know, last chance major winners now winning the lower bracket. Doesn't get quite better than that. Can they now win on Sunday as well?
Ooh, I mean, that's the question, right? But really, I just want to talk about how supportive they are of each other.
Yeah.
How much they have each other's back. And look at that. First place coming out of the lower bracket with 249 points, but also Agers and Kanata coming in second. We all knew after Major 3 that this duo had it in them, but then they faced the impossible task in day 1, going up against the likes of Malabuka and Thomas HD, but we all knew that they were capable of showing up.
100%. I think when you look at all of those teams that were there on that page, right? You know, a lot of these are names that we expected to make it through the lower bracket when given that opportunity, and they have not disappointed. Of course, the main man himself here walking up, soaking it all in. How can you not? He's had so many fans and supporters here today. Almost everybody you speak to, says, yeah, I want to support Mr. Savage. I want to see him qualify. Looks like he's going to be playing.
Mr. Savage, I know you can hear me walking away right now. I want to make sure that you never do what you did on the stage again, and that's sell yourself short. I know he's like Vadeon in the moment, but Mr. Savage as well put on a performance for us. So I'm just looking forward to seeing them tomorrow.
I cannot wait to see. You know that they are feeling so good right now, and I think this momentum is going to carry them into the competition tomorrow.
Let's do it. Let's do it. We got to know the 25 players who has made it on to Global Championships Grand Finals. Here is a look at your list, and I would want to call out one duo in particular. Bottom left, second from the bottom, Rolls and Clown. These guys literally battled it out there in game number 5 of the day, and they literally found themselves in that top 25. They were outside, and in a single game, they said, Grands, we'll be there.
Unbelievable. Rolls and Clown are a duo that if you watch competitive Fortnite in the EU, their name you've been seeing about throughout the year, right? They're names who are in these lobbies and at any given moment can put on a performance like Rolls put on there. And boy, did it come at a good time, right? You know, I spoke to them before the competition started and I actually asked them, between the two of you, who's the carry, right? Is it Clown, is it Rolls? Who would you say is the carry? And Rolls looked at me straight and said, look, I'm going to be the one that steps up. And here in that last game, to clutch up, to send them through to the final seek, it was Rolls once again.
He played it so smart and so aggressively too, and obviously that just gave them the right amount of points that they needed, but also Stain and Datas just barely scraping by. We saw them have such hot and cold games throughout the day, but when it mattered most, they clutched up.
Such a good story, and of course, Danish fans rejoice. Steno and Lucy will be going on to grand finals as well. There is so much representation. There is so much on the line tomorrow. My goodness, my head is racing. Like, I'm just thinking of everything, all of the things. But what's important about today is for the 25 that did go through. Now you have to level set. You have to figure out what's the plan going into tomorrow. We know there's 25 duos there. What do we need to change up to prepare ourselves?
Well, I mean, the teams that have competed here today have either competed in day 1 or at least got the chance to see how the teams have competed. But that also works inversely, where the teams in day 1 now got to watch all the teams compete here today. So any kind of secret strats they potentially have is probably not going to be used anymore. They have to go to the drawing board, look at the VODs tonight, and you know a lot of these players are going to be studying up because there is $1 million on the line tomorrow for that first place spot.
Yeah, 100%, man. Everyone's going to be scrambling tonight, figuring out. Let's establish now what the map's going to look like even, right? Because certain teams, right, are they going to switch up if they're going back to a spot that they were contested at? If you're Vico and Pink, do you now go back, keep going to your spot and try and deal with Akon and Cold? If you're Cammy and Seti, you're seeing Davis and Stain qualifying and you're going, oh my goodness, not these guys again, right? So, you know, again, you're going to have to spend the night really thinking about how tomorrow's lobby is going to play out for you.
So many things to break down. First, let's get a temperature check. We got to go back over to the Creator Lounge. We have the birthday girl herself standing by, Mama Benji Fishy.
Thank you so much, Zeke. You said it right there. The birthday girl herself, Mama Benji Fishy, the wonderful Mama Benji Fishy. Can we get a bit of a cheer for Mama Benji Fishy? It's her birthday, everyone. It's all for you. Now, of course, this is a global competition. So many people know you from the Europe region. Tell us about yourself if people aren't aware of you.
Okay, so my name is Mama Benji Fishy. I mainly play competitive Fortnite. Obviously not at the level that is here, but that is my aim. That is what I'm aiming for. And my son Benji used to play with Mr. Savage.
Of course, you mentioned Mr. Savage right there. I mean, you know Mr. Savage well. How happy are you for him to come out on top today and, of course, get that the fifth game victory royale?
Oh my God, yeah, that is like the birthday present I want. Actually, to go ahead then tomorrow and win the whole thing would be amazing. But yes, brilliant. Yeah, that's what I wanted.
I mean, overall, you've been watching from the stands. What's it been like to be here in person, watching the Fortnite event go down?
The atmosphere is amazing. I mean, all the crowds up here and everything. It's not the same as being at home or whatever. Just seeing the whole crowd and meeting the fans and everything and supporting the players and the parents is great.
That's what we love to see now. I'm going to come to you with a question. Do you have a prediction for an overall winner tomorrow? We're hyping things up tomorrow. Who do you think is going to take it all home?
I would love to say Mr. Savage and Vadil, but I don't know. There's so many good teams out there. Obviously Malabuka, Queasy, but then they're being contested, like Canada at Racetrack and things. So who knows?
Who knows indeed. So many questions to be answered, but thank you so much, Mama Benji, for the wonderful interview. We're going to go back to the desk, though, for some more content.
Absolutely. And again, happy birthday, Mama Benji. We love you. Thank you for stopping by. Man, oh man, tomorrow is going to be insane. I want to ask first, how did you guys find day number 2, the lower bracket?
I thought it was interesting. It was a little bit different than what we saw from day 1, which was to be expected. These strategies obviously have to be a little different for the 25 teams that failed to be able to make it straight from day 1 into day 3. And to me, I'm looking towards Agers and Canada. We all had such high hopes for them. We knew that they were able to perform on such a top level, but day 1, obviously, they just faced Titans. And now in day 2, when they had a lot easier of a go at it, they were able to get a second place spot. But Levin, are they going to go back to Racetrack?
Look, that is the question mark, right? That is what everybody will be wondering. I think the big thing for me here today to conclude the day is really just commiserations to all those teams that didn't quite make it, right? Of course, so many winners in their own right who failed to make it through, right? That's going to be a hard reality to deal with. And I think for all those players, you have to understand things didn't quite go your way here, but you don't give up, right? You keep going, you keep grinding, you keep hustling, and your time will come again. But I'm so excited for tomorrow. Oh my God, I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Yeah, and I mean, just to touch on the fact that some of these players are going home, they are still 75 of the best duos in the entire world. So if you are out there and maybe your favorite duo didn't make it and is going home, please still send love their way. They would appreciate it. We appreciate the fact that they are here to compete at this level. I know you're entertained. Now, before we say goodbye, I wanted to send it on over to MDF and Jacob PR to get their thoughts on the day.
This has been probably one of the best days of Fortnite in the history of its existence. I feel like it's my birthday, and these are the presents I've been given game after game after game.
Yeah, it really was a day of celebration. Of course, if you made it this far into the, the stages, this upper bracket to the lower bracket, congratulations, of course, on your year. Well played and well spent, of course, competing. But tomorrow we gear up for our top 50, and the dynamic has changed like we just already touched on. The players that are introduced now into the finals lobby, we'll just see who's contested now.
Yeah, but that's going to do it for myself and the great Monster D-Face. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thank you guys so much. A fantastic set of games on the day, and now we start to wrap things up. The only thing left is to start focusing on tomorrow. These players will have to review. They will have to come up with plan for tomorrow's FNCS Grand Finals of the Global Championships. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow, and as well, as I teased earlier, I've got 2 very special friends coming tomorrow's halftime show. Please don't miss out on that. As always, Fortnite fan, we'll see you here tomorrow. Stay safe. We love you. We'll see you on the battle bus.
Bye.